There we are, friends.
Dude, you are getting so good at these transitions and just
Appreciate that.
coming right in.
Hopefully someone would notice. You know what I mean? It's only taking like, there's Brad bringing his work lunch.
Is there a secret switch that you hit?
You know what?
To get everybody.
So what you do is, I mean, I don't know if anyone cares, but there's when you go to the brand button,
Yeah.
like you click show, and as soon as I click show on that intro, I start clicking add to stream. So then as soon as I've done, like by the time the stream is done, I've added everyone, and we're there as it finishes.
Good you.
So friends, thank you all for joining us. As always, we have Brad, the DC Universe geek, legend, beer connoisseur, our favorite Canadian. Next we have RobDToys, aka Handsome Rob, you know,
aka top of the top action figure photographer.
Right there.
Absolutely. No, seriously, your last photos were sick.
Bro.
Sick. I felt sick to my stomach with jealousy at how much I envy how good you are with a camera.
I mean, what really bugs me is when like I do a group shot and you kind of have to squint to see all 6 characters. But with Rob, somehow he magically makes it all crystal clear with like 8 characters.
I know, and the lighting is just like
it's perfect.
I know it just sounds like we're like jacking your ego's wiener here, but seriously, like you do fantastic. What was the last one that I was looking at? You took photo. The last thing you posted. The fuck was it?
Let's see.
Anyway,
it
not important.
The Batman,
and Robin.
Yeah, and I'm just like gushing over the stuff you take. Like
beautiful, dude.
Damn,
it's so rich, dude. The lighting. It's just
you should work for McFarlane doing something.
Yeah,
not like that. You want to oust anyone else,
right?
There's got to be room for your talent too in there somewhere.
Yeah,
or for Sports Illustrated on the swimsuit edition.
Ooh,
I feel like your techniques could be applied in other areas.
Yeah,
absolutely. I love that.
I don't know how Mrs. RobDToys would feel about that, but I'm sure she'd be fine with it.
I think she would.
I think
as long as he's coming home and bringing the paycheck, probably.
Well, listen, guys, we do have. First of all, hi to everyone in the chat. We got 59 people so far. Thanks to everyone for joining us, and also apologies. I accidentally created this for the wrong time yesterday. We'll blame it on the new child. I was just first time I've done that. So
baby brain.
Exactly. People were waiting yesterday, and so a nice gentleman messaged me like, "Hey, you guys doing the show tonight?" I'm like, "No, we are not." So that was my fault. But we do have a special guest, Mr. Toyshes, the man, the myth, the legend. Toyshes is going to join us to talk about Blue Beetle, maybe McFarlane Toys, and some other things. Let's bring on Mr. Toyshes.
What's up, gentlemen?
Welcome,
there he is.
How are you guys?
He is. Dude.
The man whose sandals I am not even fit to untie.
Not at all.
That's beautiful, bro.
I'm just a schlub.
That's what I say.
Oh man,
we are schlubs together.
What's going on, you guys? How's everything going?
Pretty well.
I mean, I watch your videos. I know what you're up to. I get the idea. So, I mean, I know you're looking at toys, but how are you in normal reality?
Well, I got the little one, so I'm still on paternity leave, just taking care of the baby, which is great.
Yes, congrats.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I apologize to everyone we're on a 3-week schedule now during the summer for our stream, so we'll get back to normal soon. But
I'm always the most important.
Enjoy it, man.
Exactly.
Enjoy it while they're younger. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
Get older and they start talking back, then you're like,
right there, dude. Right
well,
there.
my daughter, 15, just got me to wear this button in the stream today. They get older, right?
Adorable.
That's, what it is.
Yeah.
1 minute she's your baby, the next minute she's like, wear this button about big dick energy. I'm like, what the fuck?
Children today.
That's appropriate.
They grow so quick.
Yes.
Rob, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Kids are now back in school, so it's the end of summer, which I hate because I want summer to keep going all year round. That's why I want to move to California.
Right there, dude. And I do feel people are trying to push like Halloween and fall way too soon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Too soon.
Hey, come on.
Spirit of Halloween's already in the mall in my town.
It's ridiculous.
It's and like full swing.
Yeah, you got the Spirit like stores, popping up everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
they just take. Well, I don't know how it is where you guys have, but like we have a lot of dead malls. So anywhere there's a dead mall,
Yeah.
all of a sudden the ghost of the dead mall comes back with the spirits.
We have a couple of abandoned Sears, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of those there. So
they tore out when Sears closed down. They tore down that whole chunk of our mall. Actually, it's funny because our population is smaller. We have a lot less dead malls. Like we do have them.
Yeah.
And they usually get chopped up into like Fabric Land and those. Someone takes a gym and puts it in there and stuff like that, or like a call center. But for the most part, I think our malls are doing okay. And so when Sears closed, they were like, "Don't worry." They just chopped the whole thing out, gone, and they rebuilt a whole chunk of the mall.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because like our malls do okay, so they can kind of justify it, right?
Yeah,
right.
And our mall is the last mall for miles, like miles and miles and miles.
It's a sad time for malls in a lot of places, guys.
But people don't want to shop in a mall anymore, unfortunately.
I'm jealous of you guys in California. You have like all these toy stores.
You do
that are amazing. Whereas where I live, like you got to go to a comic store or hit up Target. That's about
it. We are spoiled. I mean, in California, we do have a very robust little action figure scene as far as like shows, stores.
Well, you also have that one place, don't you?
Frank's.
Don't you have that one? Yeah, you have Frank and Sons.
And they have like so many other ones that John took me to.
Yeah, just random little ones,
Yeah, they're great.
I'm already broke as it is. I couldn't afford to live in California for multiple reasons.
Yeah,
and that's one of them.
Not many of us can. You know what I mean? It's a little rough out here.
You seem to be doing okay right there, Asoka. Hey.
Well,
how's the weather been for you guys?
That's great. Well, it's a heat wave right now.
Awful.
There you go.
It does not hold back.
Oh God, it's too hot here. Ugh.
Yeah,
I'm tired. I need seasons. California needs to bring in some seasons.
I disagree with Toyshiz 1,000%. I don't want seasons. I just want it awesome all year long. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what? Snow and hurricanes and
oh God,
all of the above. Because we got
in Pennsylvania, we have all of that. So
yeah,
we were told that a giant, massive, hurricane was coming and batten down the hatches and get all the water quick. And it barely rained.
That was hilarious. That was like last weekend, and then people were. It didn't get crazy, but people were stocking up. Like,
it went other places, but like up north a little bit, they got it a little bit hectic, but I don't think it did too much damage. That's good. So that's a good thing. So.
Oh, shout out to Scott Derby. Hey guys, stuck home dealing with second round of COVID.
Oh no. Sorry, buddy.
Feel better.
Thoughts and prayers to you, Scott.
My first round sucked ass, not my second. I barely even felt it.
I hope you feel better, Scott. It's not pleasant. It was like the worst thing ever.
And we have some people in Florida too, apparently, who are.
We should make people feel better and start talking about DC stuff instead of weather.
Oh yeah, like this guy's a tap of Mark Saturday. Hey Mark, hope you're doing well.
Giving people COVID apparently, so we gotta get.
All right, let's get into it, guys. So we have Toyshiz on for a couple of reasons. First of all, we just love Toyshiz. You know what I mean?
Sexy body.
And people ask about Toyshiz. People ask why we just sing a logo. Listen, guys, no one knows who Toyshiz is. He's like the V for Vendetta. You just don't know what's going on.
Actually, complete with the same mask and everything. That's
exactly.
He's the
call
DC Infinite.
We are going to have a little spoilery Blue Beetle discussion.
Yes, sir.
Josh from before, we usually have him on as well, but he did not see Blue Beetle, so we did not have him on this show. For this next week, tentatively, when we talk about the Batman 6-pack. Hopefully, we'll all get it by then. So I might be bold and say, let's try to do this again next week, maybe.
My friend Brent said you can have toy stores or you can have seasons.
I'll take the seasons. I can go to Target.
Ouch. Ouch. Now, Rob has not seen Blue Beetle either. But since he's on the show, he has no choice. He's got to listen to the spoilers.
We're gonna ruin it for you.
It's okay. I'm still gonna watch it anyway. So
we're gonna go through it. Brad, you've seen it, right, sir?
Yes, I actually went last night and took a gaggle of children.
Nice.
Beautiful. Okay. All right.
Nice would not be how I describe it. Like I love all those kids. I love them dearly. But it's like taking out 5 minors to go to the movies is challenging on its best day.
That's a good point.
So, yeah, I'm glad they got a chance to see it though.
Now I'm
Hey, you
sure
know
they
what?
knew all about Ted Cord and Jaime Reyes, right? They just
When they saw Dan Garrett's suit, they must have all got really excited,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
All right, let's do this. We're gonna go through this by topic, just to keep it organized with our thoughts. So, guys, if anyone in the chat who has not seen Blue Beetle, we are going to spoil it completely.
Lots of spoilers.
Lots of spoilers. So, last warning.
and other shows and movies too. You don't know what we're going to spoil.
That's true. Exactly. Yeah.
And just to answer Cody, we will end up talking about all the figures because Shiz, Cody wants to know what you and I think about the Injustice Superman that was revealed.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll get everyone
there.
watching. We will get to the figures after. I believe we're going to talk about the movie
Yes.
first. I take it
Exactly.
So we will get to that after. So have no fear.
All right. Let's start off with a letter grade. So, Toy Shiz, Brad, just give me a letter grade of what you guys thought about Blue Beetle, just so we get a sense.
You want to go first, Shiz?
Sure. Honestly, I'm going to give it an A because I went in there with zero expectations. I'm not a Jaime Reyes fan, but I like what I saw. I like the character and how he was portrayed. So I wasn't expecting much, but I thought that it was just overall, it was very much a 90s sort of styled movie, but in a great way. Like it kind of reminded me of
updated way.
That type of fun. Right. Exactly. And so some of it is, I think a lot of people say, oh, it's cornball, it's corny. You kind of have to have a little bit of fun with movies. You need some tragedy, you need some comedy. And I think that overall it was just like, oh, this is just a fun popcorn movie. And the main actor from was it Cobra Kai, Zolo? I forget his last name, but he did a great job, as did his whole family and Susan Sarandon. And I think everybody was like really just well cast, which made it fun, and they played off each other well. And it was just overall a great seeing the Blue Beetle. Like of all the superheroes, we got to see a ton of Blue Beetle in many iterations. So
Okay, we got an A from Toy Shiz. Brad, what was your letter grade?
I would say I'm just below Mr. Shiz here. I would say I give it an A-. Still in the A range, but just a couple butt hairs less because the story itself was good. It wasn't anything too complex. It's actually something we've seen probably before in all kinds of movies, right?
Yeah.
All the basic plot points and all the basic, rich bad guy wants to use money and corporation that, to make weapons or whatever. And like all this, like it's all been done before, but it was done well. So that was fine, but there were moments where I was kind of like, the story seems like it's dragging just a little bit in a few spots. Like it felt like it was just there were times, when you're like, okay, something should have happened here by now. And I just felt like there was a few points where it was a little bit slow, but other than that, no, the rendering of the Blue Beetle was fantastic. And it was nice that the suit is mostly practical. Which
that was cool.
That. People that do Green Lantern, take note. It is absolutely possible to make a technical suit or a space person suit or whatever and not have to have it all CGI.
I will say
you, Ryan Reynolds.
I do appreciate that the concept of that with Green Lantern. Like that was a cool idea in theory.
It was poorly executed though.
Yeah,
it looked like everyone's muscle, and I didn't like that.
All right, let's move on to Rob real quick. Rob, letter grade based on Brad and Toy Shiz's thoughts so far.
Yeah.
Just keep you included, buddy, in the conversation.
I think I'd go with a B from what I'm seeing in the trailers. And
Bro, you see the movie. How dare you give it a grade? What's wrong with you? Unbelievable. You hear this guy?
It's not Aquaman. Come on.
I'll go with an A. I think I'm right there between Brad and Toy Shiz, and we'll get into the specifics. But I want to go back to the cast for a minute. And Toy Shiz, you touched on it a little bit, but what did you think about Blue Beetle, the main character, the female lead? What did you think about the cast in general?
The cast in general was just overall, I think it matched the story very well, being that he is, the Mexican superhero, which is really cool to see, I think. And just the whole idea of that they presented with family in general really came through. Like there wasn't, he's got a secret identity, he needs to keep it from him, he needs to do all this stuff. They were like immediately thrown into this, but in like sort of like comical, but like, yeah, that's how I expect these people to kind of act when you have this weirdo bug thing that crawls into your son and grandson, and he goes up in the ceiling and he turns into superhero and launches off. It's funny, and they care about him genuinely, and that's not always like, that's something that comes through. And I mean, I've seen people say in the comments like, yeah, it's kind of paint by numbers. We've seen this kind of thing over and over again, but this to me was like, of all the things we've seen over and over again, this was thoroughly enjoyable. So
Brad, what do you think, sir, about the cast?
I think, and just to back up too, about the whole idea of it being paint by numbers, right? Like I mentioned, like we've seen it all before, but I've seen that same sentiment as well, that people have been saying, and the thing is, I would say to those people, how many times have we seen the hero's journey? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's nothing wrong with that kind of thing. So and I don't think people realize that when you like the Marvel universe in films has been really successful, but a lot of the way they present their stories and go through things, it's all been done before. Like it's hard to do something genuinely new with a blockbuster movie where a huge budget is being thrown at it, because movie studios want a certain amount of a sure thing, right? They're like, what are things that people can relate to and is familiar to them? So, and what tropes are used a lot that we can kind of slip in here as well. So, yeah, and I think it was done well. As far as the family goes, the female lead, for one, she's gorgeous. I'm just going to say it. She is friggin' beautiful. She's one of those people that I just stopped and went, oh, I'm losing my breath. She's breathtakingly beautiful.
I don't want to get punched by my wife, so I will stay quiet.
My wife and I have like we can actually, like, she has the hots for Henry Cavill, and I'm like, cool. Like look.
I was going to nod in agreement, Brad. I was going to nod in agreement, buddy.
Yeah. So, but then the family, I really enjoyed. Like the family did work well. They casted the family members all very, very well. Like the father was believable as the heart and soul of the family, and the uncle really did a good job as that rebellious but lovable, uncle with the truck. And grandma, honestly, Nana was my favorite part of the movie. It wasn't even Blue Beetle. It was Nana.
And it was cute, her part with the being a part of a revolution. So she wasn't just like randomly, like, good with weapons. She had a little bit of backstory,
Yeah, that would have been old DC comics. That I feel like that would have been like just out of nowhere. Now they've kind of gotten a little bit better with storytelling. So
So I mean, I thought that the characters were fantastic, and they all their motivations were clear. Like I wasn't left going, okay, well, who is this ambiguous character? Why are they doing what they're doing? Like I felt like they did a good job of covering their bases with the necessary character development with each character. Even the sister, I loved her. I thought she was great. She seemed like someone's sister that I would have known as a kid.
Yeah, that's what she worked really well, and she's funny. Some of the stuff. She goes to the restroom and she walks out again. And she's like, I'm just like, no, that works. That's her character. That funny.
Tracks. Yeah.
No, I agree. I thought the cast was great. Honestly, I thought I would be most annoyed by the family. Like I think I even mentioned it on the last stream that it felt forced in the trailers. Kind of. Yeah. I don't want to talk crap on Shazam.
I knew you were going to say that.
I know. I'm sorry, but this felt much more organic. It felt like this is his actual family. Even for a comic book movie, if they felt like real people, like the dad and like the mom, they're like, you feel like people I actually know. And I was like, oh, this is refreshing, know. So,
And where it was stereotypical, like I feel like it was, there were. I mean, the dad was a little cringily stereotypical, right? Yeah. Or like the Hispanic, the Mexican, positive, hopeful dad. But in the same token, it was like it works. And they did it so well that it's like I can suspend disbelief if something is done well, even if it is a little silly, cheesy, or cringy.
Yeah, and totally like what Toysha mentioned earlier, like it was very 90s. Like it definitely a little bit cheesy, a little bit, but it was done so well that it was. I think it hit. I think it hit really well.
one of the best parts. Oh, I guess we're gonna get to that, right? Obviously, we're going in order here, so I'll save that.
No, go ahead, Toys.
No, it's when they're in the bug. Like the bug was so cool to see.
Yes, it was.
And even down to the little thing that comes out the bottom that you usually see on comic book covers, or Ted Cord swinging in on it.
Yeah, the T bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that to me, I think what also worked is that you have the story of Jaime Reyes, but then you also have this background of who is Ted Cord and what is that? And now you're like, well, now we need to see the Ted Cord movie too, and that would be kind of a cool lead-in, especially with the bone, the mid-credit scene. You know what I mean? So
well, I think what they were planning on doing too was having, like, if the movie did well, they were going to do a second, and if it didn't do well, they were just going to leave it, and it could be as is. So what that tells me is the second movie was probably going to have both Blue Beetles.
Yeah,
they may have even named it Blue Beetles, plurally. Pardon?
It's like aliens, Blue Beetles.
Yeah, and I think it would have worked because, like, the second movie would have been about rescuing Ted Cord or something like that, or getting to Ted, because he disappeared, but he's not dead. The basic rules of the theater are, unless you see him die, they ain't dead. So,
and that'd be a cool way to incorporate Booster Gold too.
Yes,
I think that's a integral character. I think for the whole Blue Beetle, anything. So
yes,
yeah.
I was really surprised how much they did with the bug ship and the Ted Cord tech. Like, they barely scratched the surface in the trailer of how much they use it, which was awesome. It was just great, like seeing the bug ship in action.
The bug was my favorite thing in the movie, in the same way that Nana was my favorite person. I loved the bug. That bug was awesome. It was nice to see the different suits too, right? Like the Blue Beetle
and it was the movie, like even from the McFarlane Toys representation, even Spin Master, the movie suit looks like the comic book suit. It's really not
so nice.
A thing where you see too much differentiation. And the fact that you get to see cloth suit for Ted Cord, and they even mentioned like, oh, he's kind of like Bruce or Batman, eccentric billionaire. They don't know who Batman is in the movie, but they were like, yeah, but he's kind of got like the worst technology, like worse than Batman has, and you're kind of like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like he's nothing really supposed to work because he's kind of like halfway. You know what I mean? So
they said he was kind of silly, essentially, right? Batman's tech is all serious, and the guy holds up
humor.
the belt.
That's what George Lopez said.
Yeah, I thought that was fantastic.
I was really shocked, and they didn't give this away in the trailer. Sorry, Rob, about using Omak in it. I was like, that was such a cool reference, and it ties back to Ted Cord, and like just a nice little bit of DC lore, making it all Omak related. So that was a nice surprise how deep the deep cuts in the DC universe.
See, I think that's where that kind of thing works well, because more often than not, you see so many superhero movies do that, and they create new characters, or they create a different offshoot or something where you're like, they have so much to draw from the comic books.
Yeah.
Why not just go with that? So you're right. That is nice to see. Like, everyone knows DC Comics, Omak, we got it. Incorporate that, and it works.
Well, and see, the thing is, like, it's clear, like, what they have shown us with Omak, because, like, technically Omak is, like, in the future, right? Like, in the comic books, Omak is contemporary with Commandy, essentially, or something like that. Like, they're very close. He's a futuristic fighter, is what he is. Like, he doesn't exist, or he did originally not exist at the same time as Superman and Batman.
Right. Because the original one had the Mohawk thing, right?
Yeah. And he was the one-man Army Corps. Like, it was called Omak because he was the one-man Army Corps. And then when they had the second crisis?
Infinite Crisis.
Yeah, they had the second crisis there. They had all of the Omaks that were from what Batman had created.
Right, with Brother Eye.
Yeah, so completely different. And so here we have these Omaks that are being used in this movie that it's like, I don't think they're going to use them, because like these Omaks are a hybrid of both of those, right? Like they're all made to attach to a human in the way that like the original Omak would have been, not like the newer ones who were more like Omak sort of took them over or something like that.
Am I thinking of more like Brother Eye or the Batman kind of created one, right?
Yeah, Brother Eye was the second one.
Yeah. Okay.
Which was a nice Brother Eye and Maxwell Lord. Killed Brother Eye and Maxwell Lord killed Ted Kord right before Infinite Crisis.
Yeah.
Right? That's
what set it off, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was harsh.
That Maxwell Lord, the jerk.
He was such a good character, and then they turned him into a dickhead. And,
yeah,
I was pissed.
And then Wonder Woman had to kill him.
Yeah,
yeah.
She did though. She put the lasso around him. She's like, "Is there any way that I can stop you?
She's a warrior.
You have to kill me."
You know? What did you
And
guys
back
think about-
then, people were like crazy about that. They were like,
people were mad.
Yeah, but now like we want her to kill.
What do you guys think about the villains overall? Susan Sarandon, the guy who was the Omak, or the guy in the red suit, I forget his name. What did you guys think about those two?
Susan was great. She's generally good at whatever she does.
She really hates her brother though in this movie. There's a lot of Ted Kord must have been a jerk to her or something.
Well, no, she thought that Ted was an idiot, is what it is, right? You could tell she's got a bit of megalomania there.
Yeah.
Right? A little bit of look at me. Oh, is the greatness of me. And Ted was not like that. You can tell just by hearing the way his daughter talks about him and like having that kind of a humor. One of the things he created was this bubble gum that expands. Right?
I was waiting to see what that would do. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah. And they showcased it so prominently that I was like, yeah, they're definitely going to be showing
use that.
But yeah, no, and I thought that the main villain, they left him ambiguous enough until the end. Like you knew that he had some motivations. I kind of knew from the second I saw him, he was going to turn on Susan Sarandon for sure. Absolutely. But I didn't know his story. And then when they showed it, it's like, oh, all right. So you weren't really a villain. You were just incredibly troubled. And really, Susan Sarandon was the only actual bad guy, the only actual antagonist.
Yeah,
I agree. Let's see. I think we covered most of it.
I thought that the only thing I thought was like really corny is when they first introduced Carapax, and she's like, what she said, like General Carapax. I'm like, oh man, that's the guy's name.
That's a horrible name.
Yeah.
But she kept saying it. She's like Carapax, we're gonna get this done, or I'm like, God, you need to call him something. Like he becomes Carapax. It just doesn't work. I don't know. It was just really funny to me. But
I can't remember if he was actually called Carapax in the original comics. He wasn't a huge bad guy. Like he was a Blue Beetle bad guy for a while, but like,
see, that's what's funny is like I couldn't even tell you. Like you say, oh, what would you rather have seen? It's like you don't really have one. Like Blue Beetle doesn't really have a designated villain. You know?
Yeah.
So
that's it. Carapax is one of them. That's the thing. He just has such a no-name rogues gallery in general that like I guess we got this Carapax guy. All right, let's go with it.
Yeah, Jacob, the guy Jacob Horn in the comments. I think that's what I think kind of confused me too about Carapax was that like he was a bad guy, but he's like the bad guy that you're like, oh, because you're so messed up, that's why you do this. But yeah, he's a son of a gun. He deserved what he got at the end, you know what I mean, or whatever supposedly happened, because we don't see what happens, you know, who knows. But we know what happens to Sarandon.
So this is the second to last movie in the old DC universe, or I guess technically Blue Beetle will go on, maybe. Unless James Gunn has said that to get people to go to see it. Like, kind of with that, through that lens, like how you guys feel about Blue Beetle continuing. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Do you think it would have done better a few years ago? Do you think it came a little bit too late? Like, what do you guys think about its place in the DC cinematic history?
I know a lot of people were comparing this to Spider-Man. I feel like some of the advertising material, DC, they made it sound like, oh, it's our version of Spider-Man. Wink, wink. I'm like, I wasn't thinking that at all. I'm like, because they're like related, you know? But I mean, like, he's kind of has a sort of an Uncle Ben kind of motivation in that sense. But one thing I liked about this movie and Jaime Reyes is that he had fun being Blue Beetle, and then it kind of role reverse where he gets kidnapped and his family has to go save him, which was kind of fun. So you know, it's one of the things. Oh yeah, Alec Owen says most of the Blue Beetle villains are like Black Beetle, Blue Beetle.
That's what I was going to say.
And I don't want to see that, honestly. Like, I think that that's become such a
No.
trope where you have Iron Man and then you have to have a bigger Iron Man. And you
Yeah.
have, you know, it just, it's okay
Yeah,
for villains to be weird and different. So,
no, I love what you mentioned there, Toys. Is like, yeah, it was great seeing his family go rescue him. Totally different from Spider-Man. Nothing like maybe, and then Blue Beetle gets the girl in the end, and she knows all about him. It's all out there on Front Street. The whole situation. So yeah, that was nice. It was refreshing. It wasn't all this angst related to him being the Blue Beetle. All his angst came from his, drama outside of that.
yeah.
I would like to see him continue on. And I think that it is like, I mean, it's said that he's going to, right? So I'm just going to assume that he will. Whether he gets another movie or not, like a sequel, remains to be seen. But they can easily just retcon whatever and say, yeah, this happened. This Blue Beetle movie that you already previously saw happened after the events, that created the new DC universe. They could very easily do that. Him having his own movie afterwards, again, at this point, I think it's kind of shaky whether they do it, but it certainly could be done. And because they were very ambiguous, they mentioned Superman, they mentioned Batman, but they didn't mention who. And I will say that this movie did not feel like it was connected to the previous in any way. Yeah. It really did feel like it was not part of it.
What about when George Clooney showed up at the end, though? That was kind of weird, right? I'm just kidding. I tried to mess with Rob a little bit.
I would love that.
It turns out he was Carapax at the end.
Dude, that would have been awesome.
It's a Scooby-Doo ending.
Who cares anymore? You know what I mean?
No, I agree with Brad. I think that it also kind of harkens back to the day. Remember in let's say Batman Forever, where they go, "Oh, where are you going, Dick Grayson? They must be halfway to Metropolis by now. Your family." And they'd always kind of mention things, but you never see them.
Yeah,
I feel like this works now because if James Gunn continues and does what he has, it could be any Batman or Superman. We know that Batman and Superman exist as DC Comics characters. So,
well, the thing is, and if they really wanted to connect this movie to the previous DC universe, they would have, like they've done in every other one. You would have seen, the Superman logo, or there'd be posters on the wall or something like that. Like when they want to connect it, they do. And so I feel like they left it ambiguous on purpose.
Yeah, I even feel like they, with everything with the shakeup going on, they probably went back in and took that stuff out if there was anything in there. So they're probably like, let's make it so that it, and then I think it would hinder the movie at this point because everyone who knows about the movies and DC Comics and what's happening will attribute that to the older now DC universe, right? And then instead of it being allowed to exist in its own realm because nobody really knows, that aids the movie in kind of getting a sequel or something else later down the road. So,
last question about this, guys. This was originally supposed to be an HBO or Max movie that went theatrical. Yeah, it was supposed to be a direct, like just a movie, not a TV movie, but a movie for Max. Okay. For HBO. What do you guys think about it? Should it stayed as a movie on streaming? Like, was it just from the production values and the way it looked? What do you guys think? Did it deserve the cinematic experience?
I honestly, because I enjoyed it, I think that it shows that, and it's all about how you conduct these films. You can't just oftentimes just do whatever and call it Blue Beetle. There was a lot to this that made it fun and entertaining. And it shows that even DC, because Marvel makes all kinds of movies with all their random characters. Yeah. And for the most part, when it first started off, we were presented a whole bunch of new characters and it was fun. Not to say now with, the whole 4 and 5 iterations now of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it's kind of fun to see, wow, as obscure as Blue Beetle is, it turned out it was a good movie, and let's see more DC Comics characters. Let's have fun with them. Put Booster Gold, put Guy Gardner. Let's do Bloodwind.
It's hard. It's hard to do it because a lot of DC characters just aren't known by people. And so it's hard to bring those characters to the conscience of people. And it is a pity that like we have these fantastic characters like Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, Martian Manhunter, Green Arrow, that they're all worthy of being in big budget films, popcorn flicks. But there's been so many superhero movies that they are contending with a certain amount of superhero fatigue as well. Yeah. Like a lot of people are like, okay, seen one, seen them all, or whatever. And then people also pick their camp. Like people are incredibly tribal about their comic book movie universes and just their comic fandom, right? You get a lot of people that they're just like DC only and then Marvel only. And then inside that, you got people that are just like Marvel movie fans only up to the Avengers, the last Avengers movie. And you got DC fans that are only fans of the Snyderverse. Like it's so incredibly tribal, in this whole genre that it's very challenging to even bring these characters to the screen now. At what I see is we're coming to the rear end of the superhero movie craze.
Do you say rear end?
Yes, like the back end of it. Back end of it. Yeah, for sure. I definitely do, because people have seen them now. Like they're a staple, right? And blockbuster movies are getting so much bigger. Like think about this. Blue Beetle, if this was released 15, 20 years ago, would have been an absolute blockbuster. People would have been like, go see it, take your friends and go see it. But now they've seen so many superhero movies with so much special effects and there's such spectacles now, right? It's just such eye candy that, like, how do you compete with that anymore? The bar is continually getting higher. And so these fantastic characters that should be in movies, I don't know if we will see them.
That's where I think the lack of any connection works in favor of this movie, because a lot of times, especially Marvel, has presented the fact of like, you're going to go see this and you just want to see this movie now to see who guest stars. It's not a movie, a story in and of itself. It's not self-contained anymore. It's just like how many secret characters and how many YouTube people can go on there and make the videos with the question marks and the arrows and like guess who comes in on the fourth mid-credit scene. You know what I mean? And it's like this was just Blue Beetle, and that was good enough for me. And I think that's where I think a lot of movies can learn from this and stop being such a critical. You have to see this movie to get the larger story. So.
Well, that's what the Marvel Universe did well.
Yeah.
Right. They all the time, whenever you saw Sam Jackson or the other fellow from S.H.I.E.L.D. show up at the end of the movie there, like these movies weren't connected. The only thing that connected them was that guy showing up at the end. Right. And so that got people thinking, oh, but you could still watch that movie individually. And Iron Man 2, you could watch that individually. Iron Man 3, you could really watch.
That's true. Yeah, when they first started, you're absolutely right. It was still more of a standalone, and it wasn't as integral.
Yeah, and it wasn't until the Avengers that they brought it together. And even then, it wasn't until the very end of that segment of the cinematic universe that it was so cohesive, and they were in almost every movie, right? You had like the Captain America movie, which had like almost every Avenger in it. And Spider-Man, he shows up, at the end. So I think that doing that now is the only way it's going to work. For people not to have fatigue. So what you're saying, the Blue Beetle being a standalone, right? And then they make a Booster Gold movie, and it should be its own thing. And then they meet later, and then we get to see these characters, which we know individually, become friends.
It's like an annual, right?
Yeah. I will say though, what we're seeing now in the movies.
I love those annuals. It was like so hit or miss with annuals. You're like, it was Armageddon 2001. Had to buy all of those. The next year was like Bloodlines. Remember that one?
I bought Bloodlines. Shut up. Hold your tongue, Asoka.
They were bro. I was not cool with Bloodlines. It was so.
Really? Did you
what about the Eclipso?
Eclipso.
I missed Eclipso. That whole thing.
One thing I liked about Bloodlines was like Superboy's annual was right before he went back to Coast City. To join the fight. And I love that little like side quest before he went back. I like that part of it.
And I love the fact that took like the whole DC universe is in this big shakeup already with Superman. It's like, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
Here are these big friggin' blood-sucking, soul-sucking monsters that they're gonna.
That was the one thing about any annual where they have like some major shakeup and the storyline, and you're like, does that come before, after? How does this work? I always hated figuring that out.
Do they do annuals anymore? Is it still a thing?
Oh yeah, yeah. But the annuals are usually directly tied to the story now. Like they're just like a thicker comic, and there might be like one thing in there that you're like, woo, dun dun dun. But in general, it's just like a thick issue for the most part.
And sometimes they're broken up. They're like 3 stories in one. Sometimes.
Those are cool too.
Yeah, like an old school annual. Yeah.
All right, my friends. Well, listen, I think we beat up Blue Beetle enough. I think we got a good consensus, a good discussion. The next DC movie, the last DC movie of this generation, will be Aquaman. Maybe. I haven't seen any footage.
Maybe,
from it.
right? If it comes out.
Yeah. It's still scheduled. But I mean, I love the first Aquaman. It made $1 billion. Let's hopefully it'll come out.
Yeah, that's funny. As much as a lot of people say, oh, like the Snyderverse and stuff. No, there were good things about the whole Snyderverse, like Shazam 1, Aquaman 1, Wonder Woman 1, and now Blue Beetle. It always seems like these offshoot characters were infinitely more interesting than they did with Batman, Superman, and to an extent when they included Wonder Woman. When she joined up with them, and that it kind of, I feel like it brought her character down because she became like third wheel. So.
Really, I like more of the movies than I don't like in this era that we're just exiting, which is good. Wonder Woman was the second Wonder Woman. I was like, wow, it's fun, but it's really cheesy.
I will say this: no matter how Aquaman does, we are sure to get at least some cool ass figures from, whether it's Mafex or
that is true,
or McFarlane or whatever.
Oh yeah, and they're already made technically.
Mattel had a great time with those. Remember the shark and like the biting feet? You know what I mean? Like they were supposed to do the Black Manta mobile too. That would have been something.
There's so many great designs for that movie.
That would have been cool.
Why did no one do the bug from Blue Beetle yet? I want McFarlane to do the bug.
What, that I would like to see that canister wasn't enough for you, Brad?
The what?
The popcorn canister wasn't enough.
I couldn't get it here.
I was just kidding. I know it's dumb. It's a great vehicle.
Yeah,
well,
I totally would.
I would like to see it in superpowers for sure.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
Yeah. Now, if you don't, always have the popcorn thing. That's the right scale.
It's not bad. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's switch gears. Let's bring Rob back into the conversation. He's been patient over there. Even though I don't know
why he didn't. That, Rob. I hope that wasn't too much of a.
No, you actually you guys didn't really spoil.
Yeah, we didn't really go into anything spoiler.
No. Yeah. Hopefully, we encourage you to go see it, Rob.
Yeah.
I mean, you do co-host a DC Infinite Hour.
Yeah, it would have been nice, Rob. Thanks for
that, Rob.
Dude, kids
your life
sports and school.
The only reason I got to go is because it was like a free day and it was $4 movie ticket day
here
in I guess the States, if anything. But everything on Sunday was $4. So
dude, I was at Ninja Turtles on that day.
Oh yeah, and I saw that. Yeah, I saw that too. Took advantage. That was great. That was fun.
Oh, so good, so good.
I haven't seen that yet. I really want to see it.
It actually made me laugh out loud. It was like I thought it was that funny.
Kind of sucked that George Clooney showed up at the end, but
that was weird. That was a lot. It was a lot of place, but
No, that's not the right one. I clicked the wrong one.
All right, let's talk McFarlane while Brad brings that up.
All right.
John Cena as Guy Gardner. I would have liked him better, more as Shazam, honestly.
Who?
John Cena.
I could see him as the big cheese.
Yeah, exactly.
You can see Cena as Guy Gardner?
No, as the big cheese, as Captain Marvel.
No, I can't see him as that either.
Oh,
No,
I could.
After
one guy,
I can't see the main guy as Shazam.
I just want them to keep Mary from Shazam too. That's all.
Mary Marvel, the next Shazam movie.
Well, do the story where she turns evil and wears the black.
Oh man, I love it. I love it.
Hold on, we're talking. I'm going to pull up the guy who should be or should have been Shazam. He's like the only guy ever that should play Shazam aside from Zach. Patrick Warburton back in the day.
Oh, of course, dude. The what's his name? The Tick.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's the guy who they
not
shit the bed on. That's the guy that they could have played. That could have played Shazam, and it would have been perfect.
Okay, you know what? That would have been pretty good, actually.
Yeah,
he's pretty.
And especially younger. Like, not he's a bit too old now.
Yeah,
right? But during the days of Underdog, he was perfect.
I mean, that's David Putty from Seinfeld right there.
Yeah.
Josh, great voice.
Josh from before in the comments. I'm glad you're checking out those black light figures. I haven't gotten to mine yet.
Dude, those were fun.
They are fun.
They're so much fun.
I haven't opened mine yet. I bought black lights. I didn't realize that they came with black lights.
It's a cool feature. I'm glad they put them in there. I saw them at the Comic-Con. I go, oh, they are included. That's nice. All right.
You know, they should do a version of that for like action figure photography lighting. Like, you know what I mean? Instead of a black light, give like 4 lights to do some action figure photography.
Oh, and the base spins.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh.
McFarlane Toys, if anyone from there's watching.
Shut up and take my money.
We're giving you that idea for free, my friends.
Take all of it.
And Protector of the Deep. No, I haven't played Injustice 2, but I played Injustice 1, so I figured it's like Injustice 2.
Dude, Injustice 2 is phenomenal.
Injustice 2 is great.
Yeah. Oh, so good. So good. All right, let's talk about some McFarlane reveals. Since last time we chatted. Cool. I think we got to
Jumanji. Let's start there.
Oh no!
Yeah, look at that.
Mulder.
Why is Black Adam wearing that shirt?
You know, it's I get it. You know, they got to make stuff for stuff. It is what it is. No matter if we buy it or not. It's just that's how it goes.
There's got to be stuff. I think we talked about all the stuff down here.
Yeah, we did.
Let's go to the Clayface 3-pack.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Rob? Let's have you haven't talked in a while, buddy.
Yeah,
Rob.
I'm stoked. I pre-ordered this. Just I don't care if it's a duplicate for Clayface, but Batman is in a lighter gray, which I love. And I just saw the 2-pack with what is that, Omega or whatever.
Omega.
Yeah.
The head sculpt on that one is phenomenal. I wish it didn't have the blood, because I would totally put it on this figure. Batgirl or Batwoman looks awesome. So yeah, I'm in for this one for sure.
I'm completely stoked. Same as Rob. I like the lighter gray, because then you have an option to, when you're posing, to have the lighter gray or the darker gray Batman, and they're both comic accurate. Mm-hmm. And then having Batwoman, the Super Family and the Bat Family are 2 families that I will never be annoyed that there are more characters for, because I like to build those families up and complete them. Yeah. And Batwoman has been such a hole for a long time. Like, I know that there's the DC Multiverse one from Mattel, which is fantastic, but this looks really, really good. And I can't wait to add her to it. And I'm actually wondering if Clayface has a slightly different paint deco.
He
does.
Faces on him. Yeah. Look at like the faces that are like in his chest and stuff. Like it seems like the paint deco might be a little bit different.
He looks darker.
He looks like they're going more for Batman animated, because he has the yellow eyes too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, good call.
Good call.
Yeah. So yeah, and so we have like a choice between which Clayface. So I'm stoked about this. I pre-ordered it right away.
Toy Shiz, what do you think, sir?
It doesn't do much for me, although I want the Batwoman. That's really what it is. I did like the first round of Clayface. I wasn't too stoked on the coloring, but it was cool. You know what I mean? And I have that Batman already, so it's really just Batwoman for me. Perhaps I'll get it later. You know, that's really my honest thoughts. It just maybe we'll see a single release of her later on. Who knows?
Yeah. I gotta go with Shiz on this. Like, I have the Mattel Clayface, so I never bought the McFarlane Clayface. So I definitely don't want to buy this one just to get Batwoman. So I'm hoping they do a single release of Batwoman.
But it's a good looking figure. I mean, like Brad said, you know, the Mattel one before that line went out, that was a cool looking Batwoman. I think it's even one that was it was hard to get, right? I think I got mine off Amazon, wasn't that? It was because it was a Clayface wave.
Yeah,
right?
it was. You're right. It was one of the. Let's see if I have it here.
And
I got mine at some conspicuous seller in BC.
Well, it was like the Two-Face Green Lantern.
She came with the double head.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Oh, that's right. She did come with a double head. You're right, Rob.
Yeah.
An unmasked noodle.
Yeah.
Unmasked noodle.
Unwigged noodle at that.
So Asoka, do you like this lighter gray versus the darker?
I do, but man, I don't even have the original one displayed.
Oh, really?
So like, yeah, just for space. You know what I mean?
I love that figure. Like, I know it's a little short, but I think it's so close to it's so close to the DC Essentials. That's why I love it.
Yeah. I love it too, but the problem is it's too small for like when I'm taking pictures of the Bat family. Like all the other Bat family members are just too. Yeah, my go-to.
That's why you just need to like cheat the camera and have it closer to the lens. And
hey, not all of us are RobDToys.
I know what you're talking about, Rob.
You know.
No, you know what? I've got a Rebirth Batman display, like Bat family display I'm working on, so I'm happy for that.
There you go.
The thing is with that, I mean, that's in my opinion, that head sculpt is one of the best that McFarlane's done for Batman. I think it's a phenomenal head sculpt.
I just wish it came with like the new head sculpt, just without the blood, because it just looks like a Capullo Batman for sure.
I gotta say, I usually agree with you on most things, but I saw that 2-pack and I was like, the only thing about that makes me want to buy that is Omega's unmasked head.
Oh, wow. It's a great head.
Yeah, but as far as like, I looked at the head sculpt and I actually audibly made a noise somewhere along the lines of a fart and a barf noise at the same time, just because I love his artwork. I just having it translate into action figure form without the body being redone in his form of artwork is challenging for me to accept. I have a hard time with that. But I love my Greg Capullo figures, the ones that are like all based on his artwork.
Yeah. I haven't given the prompt to grab a coffee yet. Sorry, I was waiting for Brad to finish. I didn't want to interrupt him, but yes,
sorry.
We all have coffee at 7:00 p.m. Pacific now.
My favorite part of your video, Toys, when you do that, it's one of your staples.
That's why I try to do them like early in the morning. That way, people have like, ruin your evening. You know.
Dude, I do admire people who can just drink coffee and like after dinner, like Europeans.
Can
you do that? I can't. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, sounds pretty good right now. To be honest. I'm not.
You're having coffee? I've been zoning out. Are you having coffee?
No, not right. I don't have one now. But now that hold on, who brought it up here? What was their name? The Scarlet and Gray. Now I want one. So
yeah, I love coffee.
And what else? Somebody said something funny in the chat.
Oh yeah, it was the McFarlane comment. Twitches. Where was it?
Oh no, the one Eddie Nova says Batwoman is probably taller than that Batman. I'm like, yeah.
Listen, guys, we don't talk about scale here on the DC Infinite Hour, right? I'm drinking the Celsius though, which is like 200 milligrams of caffeine. I'm up a lot most of the night with the child, so.
Oh yeah, you need it, man.
I need it. I need it for the show, really, just to be coherent.
I was falling asleep before I got on here, and I drank one of these.
Oh, look at that! Oh, shit.
A triple shot, just to wake up.
Dude, I want you to do something funny for your secret identity, Toyshes. Just like mess with people. I want it to be like a thing, dude. You know what I mean? Like you hire an actor to play Toyshes.
I'm actually 5 people in a trench coat.
Dude, that would be so great.
No, I'm just saying, like, a lot of people say, like, I don't make it about me. It's just what it is, and in all honesty. And I'm always around on stuff. People, I just don't make it about me. So that's all it is,
And we love you. We love you, Toyshes. Speaking of which,
not that interesting. Trust me.
I mean, I don't know about that.
Your subscriber base would say otherwise.
Yeah. I know. I would love to know, like, how you fit in the time to do everything that you do.
That's really everyone's question.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks you're a team of people. Listen, I only give up.
Not sleeping helps, I guess.
Yeah.
That would be
How old are you, Shiz, roughly?
Oh, late 30s. So
okay, so I'm approaching my mid-ish 40s.
Oh, okay.
And I'm also overweight, so like I've hit that point where I'm like, okay, last night my body demanded 12 hours sleep. Sorry, 10 hours sleep.
Yeah.
Could not stop it.
As you get older, you're like, naps sound great right now.
They are. They do.
You don't like naps when you're younger. Now you're like,
give me a nap
right now. That would be awesome.
I can't keep it up like you do anymore. Like you just shut up, Rob.
Easy now, man. Easy. There's kids in the chat, Brad.
I can't.
This took a turn.
Oh my god. No, it doesn't work. I know. So I used to put out a lot of content between family and then just being tired and all that kind of stuff. Like I have no idea how you and what's his name? Who am I talking about, Rob? What's his name?
D Hunter.
D Hunter. Yeah, I was gonna say D Amazing, but it's not D. Yeah, D Hunter. You guys bang your videos out so damn fast, and I'm like, hold on, guys, it'll take a week to do a video now.
I guess it's because I really have no answer other than a lot of stuff. It's just fun to talk about, and I'm just like raring and ready to go. Like let's do this. This is exciting. This is fun, and I appreciate everything you guys always say and the support. And I'm glad that we're all friends. We're all sitting around talking about DC stuff because of our dumb YouTube channels and social media pages. And
it's nice not. You know what, guys? It's nice to not be in competition.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. It's you guys all have a unique perspective, which I appreciate.
Exactly.
There's no right or wrong answer for any of this.
Battle Choices is a very political way of saying I disagree with a lot of the shit you say, but I don't want to say that.
I know that my videos
are in the pot.
I like to point out stuff where I go, the accuracy on this, where you guys kind of just go, I like it, and I'm like, man, I wish I could. I just want.
Well, I'll definitely shit on things, but I don't. Yeah, I notice different things, so you'll know that I'm really annoyed about something because I think it's ridiculous, and then I make fun of it.
Yeah,
that's how I deal with it. Like, so I know people that review and they get pissed, like they get angry, and I'm like, why are you angry? It's a toy, a collectible, but a toy, and so it's more fun to just like make fun of stuff.
I really miss your vignettes where you do like a black and white French movie. Like randomly in the middle of your
when I cock up when I'm talking.
Yeah, that's hilarious. And it goes to different coloring or lighting. That's great. Too,
Yeah. I don't do what I used to do. I used to do pictures and like weird animations and stuff like that, and it just takes up too much time, so I don't do it anymore. But
the thing I learned the most is like it's have fun with your videos, but don't spend an absorbent amount of time on them because you can only catch people's attention as much as they're watching them. So it's like you'll put 1,000 out. Like the thing I learned is like one video I did years ago, I put so much time into it and I got like 5 views. And then one of them I did in like 2 seconds and I got like 23,000. I'm like, see, there you go. It's but the ones I really do care about are usually anything that has to do with old toys. I can talk for days, but you do have to edit it out because people got stuff to do.
Cutting room floor. You know what? For myself, how I approach it, I have to put more time into things because I have to be like, if I get bored while I'm watching my video, like watching it over again, I go back. I'm like, what can I do here to make it more fun so that I'm having fun when I watch it? So I tend to put a lot of time into things. But yet some of my earlier videos when I was first starting did very well. And I used to record them on a box. Like I had a wooden crate. And my backdrop was like just a bunch of crap, like stuff. And they did very well as well. So it's challenging. But the thing is, you do something that we don't do, and you do it very effectively. You show all kinds of brands, and you are essentially, for most people, you're a news channel as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So people are seeing
a resource, really. You know what I mean? Like I follow Twitches. I started following Twitches just to like find out when stuff was hitting.
Right.
Like it was great. Then I didn't know he did reviews.
But I just mean that when he does his reviews, because he gets so much stuff and you put the videos out so quickly that people want to be subscribed to your channel because you have it early, and the way your review style is very good, very concise. There's an air of humor to what you're talking about, like good humor and all that. But if it's a thing, you're going to have it. right?
Yeah.
So that's what makes you so accessible to people.
Well, thank you. No, I really, the main thing is that I always keep in mind is that, you know, at the end of the day, regardless if you like something or don't, I mean, it's important to be very passionate about your hobby. Of course, we all like to do that. But where I tend to draw the line is there are people still making these things. So you don't need to, you know, come down so heavy on the people making it. It's a company in and of itself that makes these things.
Yes.
So you don't pinpoint, you know, this and that's to me where you treat it as a company making a product, you know, and that goes for toys, refrigerators, plywood. Doesn't matter.
I try to find that happy medium between this is dumb or this is silly or they screwed up, you know, and making fun of it. And also remembering that some poor bugger sculpted it.
Yeah, and a lot of times, right? You know, we're going to talk about that Superman for the Injustice too. And as much as I like to poke fun at things, you have to think about, well, somebody sculpted that, but then you know what their sculpt looked like before the factory got to it. You know what I mean?
Which is usually different, definitely.
Yeah. So, that's the finished product that you have. You know, that's what you can only go off of.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's so much stuff coming out. It almost doesn't even matter anymore. You can just be like, yeah, it's not for me. Here's like 50 other things to talk about now.
Yeah.
So.
And it's important to remember that stuff was like, I try to remember, this is like a big turning point for me. It's not just the fact that someone sculpted that. You can usually take those sculpts and someone else can repaint them and they look like gold. So it's because in the factory, they don't have a lot of time to paint.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's also important to remember that the people who are getting paid to paint these, they're getting paid shit.
Yeah.
Right? They're $20 figures, and the people really aren't getting paid that great. And if we actually paid for a McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figure what it would cost to make it and do it really well in America or Canada, the price would be quadruple.
And I think Jacob really says it here. It's always someone's favorite figure. So
exactly.
We always got to show respect.
I mean, think about like back in the day with all the figures that came out. Like that Legends of the Dark Knight was not my favorite, but I still collected it because it was fun. I mean, the sculpts weren't anything fantastic, but you know,
pre-posed.
Except I did love that Robin though.
That Robin.
That was a cool Robin.
And that scuba Batman that I liked.
Actually, I like that line a lot.
And that's the thing is like, you know, no matter yours, mine, anyone's opinion on something, there are so many more people out there that don't watch YouTube in any way, shape, or form, and they just buy stuff and enjoy it. And that to me is like, there you go. This is just another form of entertainment. At the very least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's cool. It's people talking about stuff that I might be interested in buying. So
Speaking of that, what do you guys think about this? The Atomic Skull. Look at that transition. You see that? See how he got us off a tangent right there? Masterful. Well, you guys, first of all, I've seen a lot of complaints about the infected Superman being reused 1,000 times. So now we're back to Action Comics 1000 Superman.
Yeah.
How do we feel about this, guys?
I think it's a much better Superman. It still has its issues, like the larger. Oh, there you go. See, it's still got the larger S shield and the not quite accurate suit, but it's still I think it's infinitely better than the infected. So
that's probably taking so long to use them again, you know. But
I'm glad they did, to be honest.
I'm actually okay with, like, I feel like some of the problems with the infected is some of the pegs, because when you change the neck peg and you change the T peg in the groin, you actually get a longer body and you get a proper neck length, because those are two things that are consistently wrong with that body. I like the infected body. I'm always happy to see a new body used, but I've always liked it. It's because it's not as stocky if you change the height. But as far as this goes, I like the fact that it's now a lighter blue in comparison to Action Comics.
Yes, I do like that as well. Yeah.
The red is brighter, and you know what? The only thing that used to irk me, that got to the point where it irked me, was the fact that this S shield was shiny. And it looked good at first, but then eventually I was like, well, the problem with it is it looks dark unless the light is hitting it in just the right way. And so I really like the fact that they've gone with just a straight up matte red S shield. So I'm really stoked about the Superman figure, like beyond stoked. And then with the Atomic Skull, I'm excited about this for a few reasons. For one, it's nice to have Atomic Skull, more villains. And then two, you've got pieces of Lex Luthor and pieces of a villain from the Spawn figure line. Like that chest right there.
Okay.
That's not Luthor, right? I believe that's from the Spawn figure that has like green armor.
Oh no, I'd have to check. I was under the impression that it was largely new, and it's a new head portrait, right, with the hands.
Yeah,
that's just
I know the head and hands are, but you can look at the legs.
Let's see if I find a better picture.
You can look at the legs, and it really seems like the legs are reused.
You go on Amazon.
Yeah, go on Amazon and look at it. I have the torso as well from the Luthor. Where the heck is it?
Let me stop sharing for a second.
I have one. It's not easy to get. A lot of my figures, they're buried up in like. And
I totally feel you, man. When I do videos, I'm like, God, this is gonna go south. And you just post stuff, and it's like a domino. It's
literally gonna go south. Hang on.
Stan, that's right, Jacob Horn.
Yeah.
Sorry if we're not answering the. I appreciate everybody commenting too. I think that's cool that people are here.
Boy.
I think that the old body that's new again is fantastic. Yeah, I love the colors; they're spot on. If they would have put that yellow S on that cape, it would have been a home run.
I agree with that. Yeah,
his eyes wonky. The one that was sent to the photographer to take a picture.
It's over. Yeah, it's over on the side.
It's wonky. Like,
I think what makes this figure work for me is the upper torso, where the S. I love the bigger S, but he just looks like he's like a power stance, like compared to the infected body.
Yeah.
Like he just looks like how Superman from how Dan give us a Dan Jurgens Superman.
That'd be nice.
That's what I want.
No, I agree. It is the silhouette, the stance that the infected one presents with the body type. It can be used for other things, but I just don't think that it works for Superman. You know,
I mean, this is close to a Dan Jurgens, like Asoka.
Yeah.
Do you remember the cover of the ad for Armageddon 2001 with all the heroes?
Yeah.
In line? Like that's what this body kind of reminds me of.
Yeah, the more of not skinnier, but a little bit more like the Dan Jurgens proportions, right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like he wasn't an overly buff Superman.
Like one thing that I don't understand when I get that they want to reuse the figure, and I'm totally cool with that. But I do feel like they could at least improve the wrist pegs or like the ankles for this new paint job. Like they could just fix that because they're reusing the head and all that.
Oh, it has the dreaded ankles. I'm not going to lie. I hate those ankles.
Yeah.
But Rob, could they really do that though? Because isn't that more retooling cost?
It would be a retooling cost, but I just feel like if they had it somewhere that's why like you almost have to make like a generic body and just.
Well, look, this is a mix of Action Comics 1000 and Rebirth, and if this figure had a better midriff, I've never liked the Action Comics 1000 midriff area. It's all right, and then this is the upper legs of the one, and I believe the lower of the other. So they've got all the parts to mix and make something that would, I feel keep everybody satisfied. Fix the problems and use the best parts. Because the chest of Action Comics 1000 is definitely better. For sure.
Now, I will say about Atomic Skull, I like the suit design. I love the shininess. It's a little too purple for me.
I don't remember him being that purple.
I think, and I get what you're saying. I think what happens is that it's all kind of the same color, so it's hard to kind of pull out details. Like if it was black, not to say black, but if the shiny purple parts within the armor were black, it would make those elements stand out more. Because if you look at the face of the skull, you can your eye kind of creates more of an image out of that. Whereas and it's just photos, so I always say, like, it's probably it'll probably work better in hand, but from far away, it kind of gets lost in purple on top of purple on purple.
And that's bright white light it's under too, right? So
that's true.
But if we go back, right? If we go back, I want to check this out. Okay, so it's clear that the upper legs and the arms and the abdomen, they're from Luthor. Definitely. 100%. So then I just want to, I want to pull it up on my screen. Who was the Spawn, McFarlane Spawn character?
Someone mentioned it, The Spawn figure is Sin. See, Jacob.
Yeah, I just look. It's not the same.
Is it not the same?
No.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I thought at first that the head portrait. I think it was because I was on this track when they kept revealing all these figures, for the last week and two, and they kept saying like it's a repaint, And I saw the head portrait for Atomic Skull, and I go, oh, that's just the Death Storm. And then I go, oh wait, no, it's a completely new head portrait.
Oh yeah, good point. I forgot about Death Storm.
That track of
The thing is, I'm gonna have to get 2 of these because I can take all the purple bits and I can make a slightly more classic Luthor with them without having to paint them. Right, like Kit Bash, Luthor, and these parts, the purple bits, like the legs and the waist and the arms and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that'll stick.
Nathan Barnes, that's correct on the Azrael pack. It's the flames from the Sean Gordon Murphy Batman.
All right.
Which that was a great set too. I actually
I loved it with the swords.
That was cool. But to talk about Atomic Skull though, like in my head, I think about Justice League Unlimited and how he was green and yellow.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
exactly.
Well, the original Atomic Skull was green.
Yeah. This is honestly an Atomic Skull I'm not familiar with, so it doesn't hit anything that I go, oh, okay. Like, and I have to tell myself, like, this is Atomic Skull.
He more currently he has been purple. I've definitely seen him purple, but there's elements of yellow that haven't been used in this character as well.
Hey, maybe they'll do a repaint with those colors. I mean, that's what you kind of have to assume now. At some point, you're probably going to see a different variant, if not now, later. So
well, and if it's got a lot of brand new sculpted detail, then you can absolutely count on that'll happen because he's got to get his money's worth out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And those are where repaints don't hinder anything because I go, that's the preferable look for me. So
all right, let's go on.
But they are doing a lot of repaints. That being said,
speaking of repaint,
we'll get to speaking of repaints, we got the Bat Raptor and the Hush Batman return.
Yeah, that was fun to see them bring that back for some reason. I was like, I completely forgot about that.
No kidding, man.
Mine's in the box. I put it back in the box.
It's good for people who didn't get the Bat Raptor. I don't know if it's like gone up in price or whatnot, but
it's slightly different though, isn't it? Some of the paint is a little bit different. Yeah. Like the red and the on the front there of the wires.
Blue. Yeah.
And this Hush Batman, is it just a different face sculpt basically?
It's all reused. Faces, the eyes are, the mouth is open. It's the open mouth one.
Oh, that's right.
Apparently he has. I looked this up. He has red eyes. Yeah. People are like, why does he have red eyes?
Yeah.
And I can't say that I'm familiar with this element of the storyline, but within this element, when he had the Bat Raptor, it's actually the Batman who laughs. So technically, that's not Batman. It's the Batman who laughs. That's why he has red eyes.
Oh, okay. Well, we're not going to talk about that. And from now on, that's just Batman.
I honestly took it as when they said why does he have red eyes, I go because he's linked up with the computer system because they're red. You know what I mean, like I just kind of
that's what I thought it was.
That'd been cool.
It's a great figure. I just I've said this before, I'm Mr. Broken Record. The sculpt is great for the open mouth, but I really friggin' hate it. I hate it. I hate expressy faces, in my opinion, should always be the secondary head in the pack.
You know what I would honestly like to see more of is to change things up, and not with every character, but have a movable jaw.
Oh.
You know, like with a Joker figure, I'm waiting for a company to do that. Joker should have a job.
I've only seen that once, and that was the DC Direct Hush Joker.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
But
Deep
that's
cut,
it.
Brad. Loved it. Yeah. All right, let's see what else we got.
I still haven't done the puzzle box. I got to do
Oh,
that.
Stranger Things.
Okay, this is a pretty cool set.
Yeah.
If you like a chair and a table, okay, I like it. What do you guys think? What do you think about the Dark Knight, the Joker, with this whole interrogation room situation?
I thought that if you're going to
no, Brad, more like this.
You're right.
Like that.
If you're going to build the world of the Dark Knight trilogy, I think that's a great way to do it.
Yeah. I think it's fun. Yeah.
I think yes, you're right. It's fun and it's a good way to build it. For someone like me, unless they send me a review sample, it's nothing I would ever buy. I would never buy it just because first of all, I don't know where I would put a table and chair, and where the fuck would I put that? And then number two, it's like I've got Force Ghost Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Right. And then I've got regular Heath Ledger. So it's like, do I really need another Heath Ledger?
Yes,
really.
you do.
I mean, Rob, what do you think, Rob? You're quiet here, buddy. What do you think?
Mean, I love the non-coat wearing Joker. I think it's awesome. Yes, it's kind of like a reuse, and the pattern's not 100% correct, but you know what? I get what they're going for, and I'm here for it. That's my personal take.
Will you display it though, or will it just go in a box?
Oh yeah, like I have not that you can really see right now, but I have all of my Dark Knight trilogy front row and center of my cabinet.
Ooh, I am kind of tweaked a little bit. Can we look at other pictures of that?
Yeah.
Because the only thing I want to see is I'm
trying to be lazy, but okay.
And I will say, Shiz, I watch all your videos, of course, and sometimes I'm like, I'm like Asoka. I don't care. Like, it doesn't bother me. I love the toy. And then I watch your videos, and so I'm like, you know what? Maybe I am a little upset about that.
Yeah, that is true. Shiz is very good at pointing out stuff that I'm like, you know what? I should have been
a little upset about that.
Yeah.
Well, it's never comes from I like what McFarlane Toys is doing overall.
Yeah.
I think that for the value of the figure, for what they are doing across the board, Batman 66 is my favorite. I love what they're doing with superpowers, and it is very hit and miss with DC Multiverse, but at the same time, it's never supposed to be something where it's like I don't like McFarlane Toys. Yeah. It's like, no, you've come here for a conversation, and you either agree or you don't. And since that's where I feel like growing up, and that's what I like to point out to people, growing up, we had to deal with toys that were fantastic toys, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But if you look at, let's say, the real Ghostbusters, you got 4 Ghostbusters that were based on that cartoon. Everything else, from the ghosts to the vehicles, everything else was never something in the show, or maybe very, very rarely was like an extension of something you saw in the show. Yeah. So in this era of now everyone's a fan, now everyone's hooked in the internet, now everyone can just pull up an image and look at stuff.
Yeah.
The fact that we can't get that version and you're going for that version and it doesn't look like that version, that's where I go like, it's not for me. I really wish it was this, but maybe next time. So
yeah, and they can't make everything for everyone. That's the thing.
Right.
Exactly.
Like, I'm over metal, anything metal. Like, I just don't even care anymore. So that's my personal take. But like, I'm not a completist, so I don't need to get everything. I know that there are some people who are.
Yeah, the idea of completing toy lines now in this 2023 is largely over with. It's not a doable thing anymore within reason. Like, there are smaller lines, of course, where that can totally work. But with me in DC Multiverse, like, I'm looking at the anti-monitor right now, and I'm like, I love this figure. I love the way it looks, what it brings back, like memories of going through comics and seeing that image of that character and really looking at it and going, what am I even looking at? Like, it has no discernible detail of the face. Like, it doesn't make sense. And it's like, how do you even draw that? You know what I mean? It's just like armor on a baleen whale face, you know, whatever he's got. And it's like,
yeah,
those are the types of
that was beautiful.
I agree.
Those
It's
are,
such a
you know,
way
when
with
they do
words.
90s stuff, they have been on a home run lately with all of them, you know?
Well, yeah. I tend to look at the multiverse. I don't buy stuff I don't like, right? I won't buy something I don't like. Now, if there's something I bought that I like, but there's a cock up or there's a mess up or they did something poorly, then I'll mention it. But in general, I don't buy things I don't like. Now, if McFarlane happens to send me a box of stuff, right, as we're all familiar with, sometimes there's things that I'm like, not really something that I'm not into. I either just don't review it or I'll take a picture of it and be like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. But I can't agree with you more that they are absolutely knocking it out of the park. Like I think he heard everything that we were saying, and he probably already had the idea in his mind too, that everyone was like, gonna be hard for him to beat DC Universe Classics. And I feel like he's like, hey, watch this. This will be cool. Hold my beer. And then here he is, just like delivering like fantastic character after fantastic character. And I think that they're right now, McFarlane is already better than Mattel's DC Universe Classics. Absolutely. Because the detail is there.
Oh, who was it? Somebody did a poll. Did I send that to you guys?
I don't think so.
About like the ratio of Batman figures versus other characters.
Oh, that was previously. Yes, I remember that poll.
Yeah.
He's changing that slowly, though, right?
But not quite yet. But look what we have here.
Wow.
Batman.
He's
You
gonna
like
keep
that?
the Batman characters in there. But
I love all his Batman characters.
Yeah.
So I'm there for it, but I love Batman.
You know,
What do you guys think about Jim Gordon as Batman, though?
I think he was. I think it was one of DC's, like, it was fun for a little while because we knew it wasn't going to last. But I think overall, it's a shitty idea.
I think it was fun.
Not on Todd's part. Like, I mean, like when it was created, like
it
was like fun that he was a fill-in.
Yeah.
Like, it was neat to see that. But he went from being like old and like not exactly the most in shape to look at my.
That's what confused me.
My batsuit.
Now,
what do you think about Jim Gordon as Batman?
Oh, did you say me? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like. I did when I talked about him in my video. I really liked the Mattel version, and I liked the rookie robot. Right.
Yeah, the rookie robot.
Yeah.
And I like that you could pull the head off, and you could put the Jim Gordon.
Yeah.
Head on. That's where I think that this figure as a standalone needs McFarlane's version of the rookie robot to kind of
as a mega fig
together a little bit, because I did see a lot of comments, and I think that, you know, as I've said before, lots of people nowadays, if you look at, like, when we talk about DC Comics, I think that's why you have a great time chatting, is because we're from a specific era in time of DC Comics.
Right.
We don't really talk too much about newer stuff, death metal. It's very few and far between. And I think that's where a lot of modern day DC fans get little confused. They don't know the source material. Like you just said, that doesn't look like anything I know of Jim Gordon. And it's like, in this particular storyline, super heavy, that's what Jim Gordon looked like.
Yeah. I that's the thing. I feel like when they made Jim Gordon Batman, I understand why they did it. I just feel like I thought it was a dumb concept.
I like the story. I thought it was a good story. I like the villain, Mr. Bloom, in there. I thought he was cool.
That right there is a character I want more than any other villain, because he was wackadoo. That was like the coolest, newest villain that they have done in a long time was Mr.
Very cool.
He was in that Justice League. What do they call it? Z, like all the Suicide Squad Z, right? Something like that.
Oh wow!
And they were all zombified versions. It was led by Red Hood, and Mr. Bloom came back, and I was like, "I'm reading
Mr. Bloom,
this guy."
He's
what else?
he's
He was in something else.
Sorry. Oh,
he was in something else too. I'm just trying to remember where else I saw him. In a different
oh,
Task Force Z.
that's
Swamp
that's
Thing was involved in
Task
it.
Force. That's Task Force Z. Thank you guys. Sorry.
See, I feel like going to rereading this whole storyline. Heavy Metal, I think.
If McFarlane ever does a figure, right, of Mr. Bloom, like, could you imagine like that image right there, like having like extendo pieces and a flowery face, and that would be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Like 90s clip-on effects. I don't even care. Do it.
As long as he doesn't do Rogol Zar.
Now,
I hated Rogol Zar.
See, I don't even know who that is.
That was who was that?
They rewrote basically when Bendis came along and had his Man of Steel series. They had this overpowered guy that was essentially responsible for they rewrote it so that he was responsible for the destruction of Krypton, and he had this big old axe. And I don't know, it was fun to read him at the time, but then as it set in that they were like Bendis was like rewriting the history of Krypton with Rogol Zar, I was like, that sucks. And he's a throwaway villain. They haven't used him since. They just like left him in the Phantom Zone. It's like, well, that was fucking great. Brian, you're a dick. Sorry, I'm not actually angry. It's just like
Asoka,
maybe a tad angry.
Okay,
How do you feel about it being on the Superboy body?
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Good call.
Yeah, look at the ankles.
That's another thing where I just wish if they could swap the ankles and just do a new lower calf, basically from that down. That's what I would prefer. I don't mind the body too much. I think they could work on the crotch pocket a little bit. You know what I mean?
The what?
The diaper
crotch pocket.
The crotch pocket. That sounds like something that you put in the microwave and warm up.
You can have a jingle with it. It works.
Crotch pocket.
But it's like that's where some of it lags on that particular prototype. So
I just wish that it wasn't used for Nightwing. Nightwing should have been made with the Booster Gold Blue Beetle buck. This was the wrong sculpt for Nightwing because now he's too small.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that. Yeah.
They, like what we've said multiple times, they need like another scale, kind of like somewhere in between the Robin and that body for like a teenage, like a young teen.
Yeah. It's funny to me, a lot of times when, let's say you look at Marvel Legends and a lot of people say like it's repaint, they use the same bodies, they paint the costumes on, and sometimes it really works. And I think that with McFarlane, like with how they've done the Blue Beetle body with Deadman and some of the other superheroes utilizing that, I really don't mind that they do that. I think it looks and it works. The new Batman Nightfall, they can use it for other characters, and then I think they need a Superman styled body, and then you have kind of a, like you said, Rob, like a size increment, kind of thing. And
well, that's what Mattel did, right? They had the big beefy buck, then they had the big buck, they had the tall,
and then they toss all of them and create a new buck that you're like, this one kind of sucks. Let's go back to the old bucks. It's always changing.
Yeah, and then in that sense, like now that you have those less painted on stuff, and I know that's where it kind of comes in, like you can't sculpt everything, you can't make everything exactly how you want it, but it helps to add certain parts and pieces that bring these characters to life. And it even helps with Powers. Like Powers is kind of like something that I would like to see more of across the board in any superhero capacity, Hasbro included. X-Men, you're giving us X-Men with nothing to do. They just stand there, and it's the same with
sounds like my whole figure collection.
DC Multiverse.
So that sounds like my whole figure collection. They all just like
stand there.
But this one comes with a sword, though. He's not just.
Hold on, I just want to mention one more thing about Gordon. That head sculpt. Can we go back 1 second? Because I was going to say this before. I feel like there's potential with that head sculpt, even if you're not a huge fan of the figure. You could put the Gordon head on the body, and that Batman head sculpt, you could put that on any black suited Batman as long as the scale fits. You could do a head swap.
The Jim Gordon kind of looks like Guy Gardner a little bit too.
That's what I was thinking.
Somebody pointed that out, and I go, "You're totally right."
Yeah.
I was thinking it kind of looks like Batwoman's head from Mattel.
No.
Oh my god, I don't see that, but
I mean,
all the power to you if you do.
She had a similar haircut in that head sculpt.
These are fun.
I love the story. I've read half of it.
I haven't read
Dark
any of
Knights of Steel.
Yeah.
I kind of fell off of it. It was okay. It kind of did nothing for me, to be honest.
There it is. Rob?
Art was beautiful.
The figure's okay. It's fine for what it is, I think. Sorry.
Art was beautiful. I kind of lost interest in the story as well.
Okay.
I think that the figure looks great. So, yeah, I'll that's one that I'm like, will I won't I probably will end up picking it up just because it's going to look great. Like even if I don't like the figure, sometimes I have fun just doing the reviews, taking all the pictures and stuff because the figure is just so fun to fiddle with and look at. So I'm pretty excited about this one.
I like the helmet a lot. The crack in it.
Yeah.
This is one of the ones where I felt like it takes on too much of a plasticky feel where you have like the head is, I think it's well painted and this is what it looks on the promo, but then everything about the armor without a wash to it looks,
good call, dude. Yeah,
plastic, you're right. For lack of a better term. But the washes really do help to bring out detail, and it just brings it to life that much.
This is exactly what Rob and I were talking about, Toyshes. You pointed out something that didn't bother me a second ago. You're like, damn it.
No, it does.
You're absolutely right.
You're 2 for 2. You're 2 for 2, kid.
Well, and the other comments that people had said on the video were that it's reminiscent of the Dark Knights of Steel, but it's not 100% accurate. And I'm to be honest, I looked at it for a split second. I go, I guess that's good enough because I don't really gravitate towards that. So it's like, that's fine. But if you do look at it, it's kind of like, they did their own thing again. So.
All right, let's go on to some DC Direct animated re-releases. Cell shaded, maybe gone a little too far. But what do you guys think about this Batman?
Too far.
Hey, a little bit.
It kind of looks like one of those old Kenner Batman the animated series figures, like a mail away or something like it.
Yeah.
Camo tech Batman or something like that.
Okay. This is how you do cell shading correctly.
He busts out the Mondo.
Mondo.
I had that one before. Yeah.
And then DC Direct did a cell shading, and I thought that was fantastic as well. The one thing I will say about this figure, though, is it's got the head portrait of the styling how I liked when they drew Batman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they had like a couple of different artists, and I really the DC Direct figures are awesome, but I hate the heads, to be honest. Like they don't look like the cartoon.
Yes, I will agree. They're kind of hit and miss. To be honest.
Like Robin looks fine in the face, but the glaring omission on this is obviously the yellow on the cape. I'm not a big fan of cell shading in general, but when it's done right, it does look great.
I think the Mr. Freeze one, as far as what the photos showed, they nailed it on that. That. And
I mean, will I collect these? Probably, but
that's a sexy figure.
The scythe, look at the scythe, the detail on that right there at the top. That's like straight from Trial when he's like on the stairs, and you can kind of see the reflection.
That is nice.
They nailed that. They nailed it.
Yeah. I see. The thing is, I don't collect all the animated. I've got some, but I'll definitely pick up Scarecrow and likely Mr. Freeze.
And I do like the circular thing in the middle, or it's not belt buckle or whatever that is. I think that's nicely shaded. That looks like animated, right? Like I feel like that turned out pretty well.
Oh crap! I just realized you have to buy all these to build Condiment King.
Exactly.
No, I want Condiment King.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm the Robin with the missing yellow, the Batman with the cell shading is like. At the end of the day, I'm glad that I have a normal looking Batman that I like. You know what I mean? So I already have that figure. yeah, you do need to get it for the sweet Condiment King, and I think
Like,
this
this
one
is-
actually came out the best.
Now
Yeah.
I have the originals I had then when they redid with the cell shading. I will probably get these just to build, and then either take the head off of that one and put on this one, and then just put the Robin and Batman in storage. And then
Now the new head does have a bit of cell shading on the side there.
It does, but so does I have a cell shaded Batman. So
you're gonna just switch the cell shaded heads.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. That's my
But
point.
I am disappointed that you
idea.
got to buy all of them to get Condiment King. Like,
Or you can go to the dirty Evil Bay, and you know someone's put it together. And
Yeah,
they'll charge
that's
you an
true.
arm and a
You're
leg.
gonna pay.
That's the price you got to pay for the convenience of not having to buy all the figures, I guess.
that's true.
Where
That
you
is
could
true.
just buy the figures and
Yeah, it's only 3 times $30. No, 4 times $30. So not too bad. And also, one thing I wanted to point out about the price on these being
American.
only 30 was that they were $30 7 years ago when they came
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And they still kept the price the same, which is
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Todd is really good with his pricing. Like I have to keep, like, in my videos I mention this a lot. Like if the face paint is wonky or something, I'm like, yeah, but this was and I know they're what, $23 now or whatever, but they
Yeah.
used to be $19.99 for the longest time, and I was like, this is a $20 figure, so to demand perfection is just ludicrous, right?
But even at the for these, at least for the $30 price point,
Yeah.
you're getting a Build-A-Figure piece,
Yeah,
and
and
you're
hands.
getting a bunch of hands and weapons.
And
So-
he kept it the same price, which tells
Yeah.
you so
plus
much
the
about,
packaging is like old school Kenner.
Yeah, exactly.
like he
And it's
knows what he's doing. He's taking a loss for sure.
And
Except
it's
He said that he is.
no, like
Is it-
Toy Games just said the thing, except for the collector's edition, which that they still need to work on for the $30 price.
Well,
point.
yeah, we got a
Yeah.
little ways to go.
I
There.
got a card holder, and that's it.
I mean, I will say it's pretty cool. They're doing Condiment King, like a brand new sculpt for like
Yes.
a DC Direct line. I mean, that's what we wanted from them taking over the DC Direct brand, was to bring back stuff
Yeah.
like this.
Oh my
So-
god! I just had the greatest idea, and I don't have very many good ideas. This is a rarity. Okay, wouldn't it be awesome if Todd did like a Gotham City, weirdos, like 3-pack with Condiment King, Kite Man, and I don't know, Mad Hatter or something, and pick like 3 just like weird characters. Maybe Mad Hatter's not the right one.
Mr. Bloom.
Moth, Killer Moth, right?
Yeah.
Put all these like ridiculous characters in one packet. Damn. Shut up and take all of my money twice over. I would
do it.
Because, like, you think about it, Condiment King's not going to sell very well in the McFarlane line on the pegs, right? Like, people like us and the fans will go, holy shit, that's Condiment King. Woo! But then the average person's not like, who the hell is this guy? Ketchup and mustard are his weapons?
I think a lot of people thought he's a villain too, where it's like, no, there's a whole story behind this.
He's not a villain?
Yeah.
No, he's in the animated series. It was a mind control thing that the Joker stole the tech because he wanted to win a comedy thing. So he ruined 3
Oh, that's
comedians'
right.
lives. So he's
Toy
like,
Show's great memory on the Toy Show.
Yeah, damn.
hey, it's full of useless information, I guess.
Hey, not on this show, buddy. Not on this show. All right, what do we think about the Bat Cycle?
Redecoed. Is that the is that redecoed?
Redecoed.
Is it though? Like, is it actually redecoed?
Yeah.
Well, it's repainted. Yeah, redecoed. Yeah, I have the original. It's right over here.
It
It's
comes
pretty
with a
much all
stand.
black.
I love the way this looks because when you look at this, it doesn't disrupt the fact that you have the original one, which I appreciate, and I think a lot of people would appreciate out there. And then it's got that retro Kenner packaging, which makes this look even more like a Kenner. It's a little bit off, but it works in that vein of.
Oh, good point.
It's
like
it has toyetic.
Yes, it's not going to be the exact bike, but it really does look good, I think. So
yeah. I missed the first one, so I may pick this one up.
I highly recommend it, especially if you don't have the first one. I have the first one.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And the first one is like Boku bucks, right? At this point now.
It's a little pricier now.
Does the first one have that stand with the smoke effect, quote unquote?
It does. Let me grab it.
I thought it did.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But the first one came with the figure itself.
It came with the figure.
That's right.
Yeah.
With the wired
with
cape.
a cloth goods cape. Wasn't that the first cloth goods
Yeah,
paper
and
was
it
on
was
the
a
end of
wired
it.
cloth goods.
Yeah, it was.
too.
So they could have it like flowing as he was on the bike. I bought
Yeah.
the first animated Batmobile, which I loved.
So there's
And
the
then
bike.
they came out with the second one and I missed it.
There you go. That looks great.
Yeah, see, actually, I like the first release better than the one with the blue, to be honest.
And the
Yeah,
light,
I totally agree. I just if you think about, and I'm looking at my Kenner, figures over here, like that to me is like you did a Kenner variant deco.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
To be fair, though, the one with the blue, you could put in, like, that's easily, you could have Batman on the one that Asoka just showed us. Yeah. And then Nightwing could be posed on the one with the blue.
That's true.
That works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the stand. I think the only thing missing is it doesn't have this little piece of like the.
Is it the same though? Is it the same? I don't think it's the same stand, is it?
It's different.
I guess it's a little bit different, but it does have the.
Oh, no, it's. Does it light up?
The stand doesn't light up. No.
Okay, this one. See, that's why, like, I was looking at the box and it says like, oh, it has a smoke effect, and in my head,
I'm sorry. You know what? If you flip it over this way.
Oh yeah. There you go.
Okay, then maybe that is the same.
It's probably.
You get the thing upside down.
Yeah. Well, on the bottom of it, it's got the little sewer cap. That's why I keep it up.
Oh, that's cool.
You know what I mean? So
you can use either side.
Exactly.
You're supposed to use either side.
Oh, cool.
I think maybe not. I think so, right?
That looks like sidewalk or road.
Yeah. Right. And this one looks like more like a and this piece easily comes out, so you can flip it. Yeah, no, you can use it. But it's got both pieces, both sides.
That's in terms of getting the little trading card too, that's very reminiscent of the Topps Batman the Animated Series cards.
Yeah.
And I didn't even notice this in the Batman Spawn pack. When I pulled the cards out, it was kind of like I wasn't even paying attention to it. But they made the Spawn trading card look like the McFarlane Spawn trading cards from back in the day. So,
oh, nice.
So that was kind of cool. That's a cool attention to detail that I totally even overshot. But it's got me looking now, so that's why I noticed the Batman the Animated Series. I was like, I have those cards. That's totally cool.
Now I might have to double dip on
the trading cards too. I'm gonna say it, like, it's a silly concept now in modern time to put a trading card with it, because trading cards are not really a thing anymore. But I actually have a binder full of McFarlane trading cards, and I love them.
I do too. I keep them in a thing. If they got rid of them tomorrow, it wouldn't affect me. But I keep
some of them. Yeah. I kept the one that came with Tim Drake, the Robin cover. Like,
so tell the crowd what you do with your packaging and with your
Chuck.
Yeah, chuck it all. He chucked it all.
Chuck it all. I do keep some of the trading cards. I will say that I do, but most of them
intentionally ruin the packaging now to never keep it.
No, I do not need Chuck.
Shiz, do you get in shit in your comments? Do you wreck the packaging in the video?
No.
I wreck mine in the video when I open it.
I've seen you do that. That's funny.
Yeah, people get so mad at me, and it's like, where am I going to put it? Like, I don't keep the packaging either.
Brett, go to the next level and just like wreck the figure as well, and just like to be like anarchist.
Oh my god! I did that with the World's Funnest to Collect. I melted Supergirl's head.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was a Brad classic.
It was terrible. That sculpt was terrible. I like this as much as I'm not like I'm jokerizing everything. I'm like,
it's a cool figure. I'm
done with it, but this looks really good.
Yeah, it's a cool
concept. Like I said to Asoka before, like take the head off. Yeah, the neck's not going to be right, but pop an actual Joker face on there, and you.
Why
can
wouldn't
have,
it be right though? It's white.
Well, the one side's burnt of the neck, isn't it?
Oh fuck yeah, you're right. But white paint.
But I mean, the one side's a little like tattered, but you could say like his flower like shot out and acid got on his coat or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the little backstory, Rob. Right?
Is that what they're calling it?
His future custom.
Yeah.
Choices. What do you think about this? Choices.
At this point, I honestly don't mind them. I know that they're there to put product on the shelf and to generate cash for characters like Catman. You know what I mean?
And this is stupidly cool looking.
There are people out there that like them. As long as and like Northern Nomad just said, and I was going to say, as long as you don't go too much with them, I think every once in a while it's fun.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, it would be like we'd get a whole wave of Jokerized figures, and then not get any figures for like 6 months, right? Like that's how it used to work with the toy business. But dude, now we get like 4 waves a month of like You know what I mean? It's,
going broke waves a month.
It's like a Mr. Gosh, if I could steal one of Toy Shiz's terms.
I like I like though that it's creative and it's weird. So I appreciate it in that sense, because if you look at Marvel Legends, they're very clean cut. They don't do a lot of weirdo stuff where they could have a little bit more fun maybe from time to time. They do Venomized stuff, you know, every once in a while. I mean, they haven't done it for a while, but it would be kind of fun to see more things, maybe do like the Star Wars stuff. As dumb as it is, I love their Christmas Star Wars thing, you know.
That's true. It's fun.
I like when they do weird stuff. It doesn't always work, but it's cool to just see them kind of step out of, you know, a corner and just say like, here's something bizarre. Maybe you'll like it.
I mean, honestly, I like this more than the regular Scarecrow that they released, to be honest with you.
I mean, it's very interesting. So
I want to know
for Halloween.
That's my question. Like, I want to pick Todd's brain. Like, I was invited to go to New York Comic Con and talk to Todd, and I'm like, I'd love to go, but it's a lot of money to get my ass there. The train, the lodging, the food. But the first thing I'm going to ask him if I can get there, not New York Comic Con, New York Toy Fair. The first thing I'm going to ask him is, so why are you doing all these Jokerized versions? Like, I know it's like, okay, you want to get your money's worth out of the sculpt and stuff like that. But like, what made you decide I'm going to Jokerize the shit out of like a lot of characters?
But I'm also curious if they must be selling, right? Because they keep making them. So there's definitely, I mean, right? There's
you know, this is like the first year they did it, so let's see what happens.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
They got to wait, like it's the fiscal year, right?
Yeah. But I mean, they did spend a lot of money, and as much as I don't really care that much about the Dark Knight trilogy, like I like Batman Begins and I like parts of the other movies and stuff, but they really went to town on those sculpts. Like they did a great job.
Be careful what you're saying, because you don't want to be like James Gunn. In 10 years, when you're running DC Studios Toy Shiz, these comments come.
They'll use it as a source. Like, on August 30th, you did say
Toy Shiz did say on the DC Infinite Hour that he hated the dark. Yeah,
and then you three will be there going like, he said it. He freaking.
We totally will. We would. We're totally.
Then you got to answer for it, and half the community tries to cancel you.
Let's talk about Hawkman. Rob is jizzing over there. I'm sorry, Rob is excited over there.
Did you just say what I think you said?
Rob, go ahead and tell us about your love of this particular Hawkman.
I've always been a huge Hawkman fan.
Hands above, and hands. I want to see your hands. Thank you. Okay, just making sure.
And when I saw them do the 0 hour Hawkman, where the amalgamation or whatever, how you say that, of all of them together, and then they came out with this. I loved it, and then that's what made me really want to get the Total Justice back in the day.
Yeah, great line.
Which I did have, and then to see this like a 0 hour Hawkman. I prefer this over the classic any day. Yeah. But that's just because my love for the 90s is so strong.
Agreed.
So, the only thing that bugs me about this figure, though, and I'm hoping it's fixed, but it's probably not, is the wrist peg on the gauntlet.
Yeah, it's flesh color.
Yeah. That's the only,
maybe you can move it down. Maybe it's a separate piece.
That's what I'm hoping, or I can find another figure that has that.
Do you not have a figure graveyard full of body parts? You can
I don't.
Yank a wrist peg.
I mean, I have figures that I have in storage, but they're still together. Like I don't take them.
I have like bins of parts, just that I can always take from now.
But I will say, from the source material, this is perfect. Like they got the hairy chest, they got the crotch pocket perfect. I mean the boots, everything.
That, you and me, we're gonna.
Yeah, I mean it's perfect. The only thing that I might change is I might swap out the wings if I can for the Sky Tyrant.
Yeah, which you can,
because he had the articulated wings.
Yeah. My opinion on this figure is, first of all, we are complete opposites. My favorite Hawkman is the classic. Absolutely.
Yeah. Which I did have for superpowers. Don't get me wrong. I love that one. But I love the long hair, the more manly Hawkman. Yeah.
See, I will have to have one like this because I love it. But the issues that I have with it, it's not actually the sculpt. I think it's a beautiful figure.
Yeah.
So I have no qualms there at all. I may change the wings like you're talking about as well. And I love the fact that they've sculpted the chest hair.
Yeah.
You can see shadows. They sculpted that chest hair, and then they've gone over it like with a bit of a brush to try to bring the hairs out. But no, my issue is that with this figure, I would rather see them do. It's not really an issue with the figure. If I was going to have them, well, I guess I do have an issue with it. I guess the first issue would be, where does he go for my collection? Right? Like, how many 90s characters do I have? So where do I fit him in? Because I like to group my characters by time and generation, and some you can fudge in. So it's like, where am I going to fudge him in?
You get him with Kyle Rayner with like Impulse, like that's pretty 90s, right?
There's only 3 of them though, right? And I'm like a team builder, so
you got
that's my problem. It's a stupid problem, but
I have no rhyme or reason to my collection.
Yeah, and neither does Asoka.
Yeah,
you guys are both just like, put him on a shelf.
Exactly.
And I'm like, no, put him in a team.
I like your thinking, Brad. I respect what you're saying. You know, but most collectors I do feel have some sort of like way they organize it.
Now, this does open the door though for Electric Superman.
Yes.
Red and blue.
I'm literally looking at the DC Universe Classics right now. I have him on my desk because as dumb as that was back in the day.
Yeah.
Still like it now.
I love it now, dude.
It's quintessential, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
In the 90s, it was like one of the things. But okay, if I was gonna like pick a Hawkman to do and say we want something modern-ish but classic, I like the look of Hawkman that DC Direct did for their Brightest Day figure line. Do you guys remember that?
One, yeah, I do. That one was good too.
Yeah. Yeah, he's back there. Pouches.
This is like Rockstar Hawkman with leather pants, greasy hair. This is
cracks up the guitar and
this is a sexy figure. I gotta say, man.
He comes with a 6-pack too, so
right.
He comes with 2
and a sofa.
Like when I pictured like with him without the harness and stuff. Like that's what Superman always looked like in the 90s, like when he didn't have his shirt on with the hairy chest.
Yes.
I wonder how many people are going to buy this figure for the torso to custom a beat ass up looking Superman to go with their Doomsday.
Well, it depends if there's a hole in his chest, right?
Like, but there's people that are better than me and better than all of us that putty the hole in and they resculpt it and that kind of deal.
I want to see someone painting the hairs and the missing hole piece if there is one.
I mean the chest hairs?
The chest hairs, yeah.
Like properly painting each individual
I'm sure people
hair.
can do it.
That's not me. Nope. I don't have that kind of patience.
But I do like it looks like metallic paint for like the mask and the mace.
Yeah.
I like Roland's Count. Give him the guitar.
Yeah.
Plastic Man from Death Metal Batman. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just happy for Rob, honestly. This is like one of his gems. Wave Rider is my one, which I hear we might be getting. That's
Monarch.
And Monarch. You
know,
if we get Monarch, game over, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Rob will be done. He'll just go off into the bush by himself with his action figure. Like, my life is complete.
Yeah. He'll retire. Toyshes, what do you think about Sinestro here?
It's fine. It's not my ideal look for Sinestro. I do like classic Sinestro.
The blue and black?
I think it looks great. There's no qualms I have with it. I think I'm glad that he's not, when they kind of redesigned him where he had the extended forehead, that kind of thing. Yeah, I like more of this look for Sinestro, but in his blues and blacks sort of deal, which I'm going to assume, being that the first wave had variants, there's no reason that this is not going to have variants. That's what I expect. So
I'm putting my money down now on the table. Okay, I'm betting that we will get a Sinestro with the blue and black, and an updated Hal Jordan 2-pack.
That would be ideal.
In fact, can I get this without it falling over?
There's the Blair Witch Rob.
Side note, this head sculpt right here.
Nope.
For people who don't like that one, this one can probably be popped on the body.
That's beautiful Sinestro right there.
Do you guys remember this?
Oh yeah.
I never
opened it.
Open it right now, Rob, live.
Do it.
On
do
the
it.
DC
do
Infinite
it.
Hour.
Do it.
No.
Open it. Open it.
Peer pressure. Peer pressure.
Oh, that's a great set,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh
Yeah.
man, look at that sign there. Toys R Us.
Toys R Us.
exclusive.
Yeah.
I still have Toys R Us, but you guys don't. Sorry, I don't mean to rub that in. I'm just saying. Like,
Thanks,
we
Brad.
don't have Toys R Us.
Thanks.
Hey, but
I know that you know
sorry,
it's
I
like
went
one
too
thing
far.
to talk about with the collector's edition, and it's like they look great. Like there's no question, at least in my mind, like the three new figures for Wave 2 look fantastic.
Yeah.
But the elephant in the room, of course.
I mean, dude, it's gotta have a ton of accessories if you're gonna charge an extra $8. Call it a collector edition.
Yeah.
Like
collector's edition should have 2 heads.
it's got to,
at
you
least.
know,
2 heads at least, extra hands, an accessory, and maybe even an energy construct for him.
Well,
the card holder. Okay, here's my take on the card holder, and I haven't put it out yet, but I mentioned it in my Alan Scott that I'm working on that video. The card holder, I think what they're thinking is, because remember, Todd doesn't really think that people army build. I've heard him say this. He's like, people like Batman, so they'll have a bunch of Batman on their shelf because Batman's cool, but they don't necessarily want to have every figure. So I think what he's thinking is people are going to display these collector's edition figures with the card with them, probably. Like they don't realize that most people are going to take that card holder and throw it in a box.
that's true. Yeah, they're viewing it as a gift. Like this is not
standout.
It is expensive gift, right? And then you'd have such a cool looking figure with a card on your shelf. I could see them having
it's
that.
so odd. It's like this is not like I like the card holder. It's cool in theory.
I do like it.
Who has space to put all these card holders? Maybe I'm wrong. If someone has have them all nicely displayed, I would love to see it. But
no actual collector, I think, has the space for that. I got my collection takes up 3 rooms in my house, and I don't have space for
it. The idea though that like in Asoka and Rob, you guys know what I'm talking about. Brad, I don't know if you collect. You collect Ninja Turtles too, like NECA stuff, right?
Yep.
So like, and I know the prices are different in Canada, but for $32.99, if I'm not mistaken, you get this foot soldier, and it has 75 pieces in the box.
Insane, ridiculous, dude.
Now it's more than that. Like
you know?
it's way more than that for me. Like if I go to Toys R Us in Canada to get any of those NECA figures, they're 50 some odd bucks.
Yeah. Okay.
And if I
at least you get a ton of stuff, you know.
We don't get a ton of stuff at our Toys R Us. You'd think we do.
Yeah. No, in the package for the foot soldier. I mean.
Oh yes,
like,
yes.
You know.
But see, that's what I mean. Is like for $4 extra, you're getting a ton. Yeah. See, Rob's got. So it's like people are going to start to catch on to that. And like I pointed out in my video with the Jim Gordon for the $20 price point gives you what 2, 4, 6, like 8 hands, right?
Yeah.
And an extra head portrait for 20. But then the collector's edition, even though it's a new figure, and I believe all of them are new sculpts minus the wings on Hawkman, you don't really get anything. It's just like
it's not different enough from the regular multiverse line.
No.
Other than the card holder and the packaging, it's very like, ew, you know.
Well, and technically, you can look at say someone like Sinestro, and the legs are completely reused.
Those are Hal, or not Hal, but they're Kyle. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
So it's only the crotch pocket and the rest of the figure.
See, that's
that crotch pocket in the
that's
microwave.
What I mean is like to have that collector's. It's almost as if they should just say it's a collector. It's another offshoot, a collector's edition. But then again, I think that you have platinum, gold label, McFarlane store gold label.
Paternity edition.
It's too much. It's too much. You're confusing normies, right? The normal people that are just.
You're confusing me, and I'm not a normie. It's okay. So gold label is what? Target.
Sometimes. There's Walmart as well.
Is like usually I don't.
Ahsoka, did you see my text?
Oh yeah, I'll get to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry.
Because they talk about that too. It's pretty interesting.
We'll get to that. Guys, we're running out of time. We're already past 2 hours.
Woo!
Choices was so cute earlier. He asked me, "Well, it's about an hour, right?" I'm like, "Oh, Oh shit!
Were you honest with the poor man?
I was. I said it's the Infinite Hours.
That might be. I you know, when I do watch you guys' stuff, when I put it on the background if I'm making dinner or something like that. But maybe that's where I get it. I'm like, oh, it's only an hour, right?
Oh no.
Yeah, it's misleading that we have hour in the title.
I know.
Yeah.
All right.
Infinite
Firestorm. Ronnie Raymond.
It's great looking figure. Like,
yeah.
Stoked.
His head looks a little small compared
Yeah.
to his eyes.
Thank you. Someone else said it. Woo!
Oh well, now
I
that
wish-
you say that, yeah.
I wish that his sleeves were a little baggier, but other than that, it's fine.
It's a nice figure though.
This head right here. This head. If you got this one,
Oh yeah.
and you pop it on that body, you have a perfect Firestorm. And I'm stoked. I'm gonna use this one to compare him to. His arm's broken. I gotta put his arm back on. And then as soon as I've done the comparison, I'm like, well, you were good while you lasted. And I'm taking that head and putting it on there for sure. Beautiful figure though. I'm really stoked. When I went to order these, funny story, when I went to order this one and all these figures that came out, I missed the pre-orders at first because they were out for 4 hours. And it was I almost didn't get them. And I was like, no,
that would have been
not
tragic.
Firestorm. I don't want to miss Firestorm.
That would have been tragic.
Those the hands on Firestorm look great too, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a nice use of that effect.
Well, he has extra hands, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
He has a couple. Yeah.
Yeah. So you
With
can
and power hands. So that to me completes a character like that. And if they had a flight stand, I think that would have been even better.
I think that they should have done like what Mattel did and have the doctor's like head like plug into the back.
yeah.
Oh,
that would've been
yeah.
nice.
Like Total Heroes had that.
Yeah.
Mattel.
Yeah. I love Firestorm. He was one of my first Superpowers figures from that wave. He was like one of the first ones I got from, I believe he was wave 2.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
And I'm so excited for this one. I love Brainiac. Yeah. I love the Injustice 2 Brainiac.
Yeah.
I think this guy looks phenomenal.
He does.
I don't mind that he's Injustice 2 Brainiac. I don't have, outside of Superman the animated series, Justice League, like the animated style, like that to me is Brainiac. But if you tell me what's comic book Brainiac look like, I'd be like, that's fine. That works for me.
As long as it's not bicycle shorts Brainiac, I'm okay.
Oh, I love bicycles.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Sure.
That came out and I wasn't even finished working on this. I'm like, well, damn.
Dude, that was looking beautiful too.
Yeah, but it might look nice, but it's not as nice as old Tentacle Arms Brainiac there.
Tentacles.
I like that you can even pull the arms off of this. That was like something I was looking for. I'm like, I prefer without the tentacle arms, I guess. But
are they wired? Do you think?
I don't believe they're wired. No,
that would have been awesome.
I will probably pull the shoulder pads off those pauldrons when I display them. Matter of fact, I know I will, and I will likely yank the tentacles off. Even if I got to snip them off. If I have a second one to leave as is, it's fine. But if I only get one, I'll definitely remove the bigger, bulkier bits of armor. For sure. Though. I love it, though. I think it's fantastic.
Brad, take this away, buddy. Take it away, Brad.
Well, because I read the current comics, right? Like I'm up to date. My comic bill in a month is like astronomical. I love this figure. It's nice to see Supergirl done because we don't get very many Supergirls. I would have rather it been, let's face it, the best designed Supergirl, and I'm sure everyone on the planet would agree, is the one that was in the 90s. It was Matrix Supergirl. So if you had a Supergirl that was like actual Kara, but looked like Matrix Supergirl, I think that was like the apex of her design, my opinion. And
I might be with Mike Turner when she came back in
the belly top.
Yes, that's my favorite Supergirl.
That's my third favorite.
I remember that. Those, yeah, that was.
I have a statue of her up here.
Yeah, that's a beautiful statue.
It's a fantastic look, but third favorite look for me. The only thing I don't like about this figure that needs to change, and I'll end up having to fix it, is the fact that her legs, her stockings are all red. And she's never had that. Like that's
she has. I believe she has skin. It's just the angle of the photo.
I don't think so, Toyshes.
In the
Really?
in the straight up photo, in the straight up picture, it's those go all the way up.
Oh,
They do.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And currently, well, not currently, she's wearing a jacket now, but just previously to how she looks now, she looked like this, except for she had the boots that went up. They were like thigh highs. They went up just above the knee there. And so I feel like they should have done that. And I don't know why they went with the whole red legs all the way up. It's an easy fix. Part swaps are easy. But I love the fact they gave her a cloth goods cape.
Yeah.
Yep.
It would be even better if it was wired, but I'm really, really stoked about Kara. I love
that gold S. The gold, you know.
Yeah.
It
She
works.
needed
It was good.
She needs a splorch face from Doomsday when she got purple creature.
Oh, deep cut right there.
Absolute
That was Matrix.
everything out of me. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
bro. That would be
punched
amazing.
and like just goes.
I love our age demographic on this.
Right. Yeah. People are like, what is he talking about?
What are they talking about?
The cloth tape looks great. That's another.
Yeah, it looks real nice.
Bonus.
And it looks like it actually tucks into the neck.
Yeah,
where they fit her neck into the body there, the torso.
It does.
It's beautiful.
And if they've done that, then that is the key to doing a good cape tuck, is a separate piece that they fit on top.
This guy RobDToys said she looks incredible, beautiful sculpt, and I'm digging the cape. The comments, right there.
It's a better.
I heard that Rob takes great photos.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
That guy's running
better.
Yeah. See, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was a great shot. Oh, let's get to the Superman here. Rob, what do you think, buddy?
Next.
Well, I hate all Injustice 2 designs.
Ouch.
And that has nothing to do with McFarlane. It's just I just don't like them. The only one that I have displayed, to be honest, is the Green Arrow, just because we haven't gotten a classic Green Arrow yet. And Dr. Fate.
Yeah. And they're both easily fudgeable.
This does nothing for me just because I don't like the design. Yeah. I mean, it's sculpted okay, I think. I don't care.
I feel like with this figure, we got a little bit of a tease with Storm Collectibles. They were like, we're going to do Superman. And I was like, oh, right. And I bought all the big, mega, huge figures. I bought like Lobo and Doomsday and Darkseid. Loved them all. And I was like, all right, going to have Superman. He's going to be coming out. And I can't wait. And then where is it? Where's this? And he never came out. It's like, well, damn. So literally all of my Injustice characters that I have doubles of, I've got them upstairs with my Storm Collectibles bad guys. I've got like an actual Injustice 1 and 2 display. So I'm really stoked about Superman for that reason. But I don't like the coloring. This is probably one of the variants, because in Injustice 2, you can change the look of the suit, right? The Injustice 2's and Injustice 1's basic Superman coloring did not have that black in it.
Yeah.
And so when I look at that, I'm like, that's going to need to be fixed. I don't want to have all that black in there. And the head sculpt, I don't like it. Had to say
Pushes anything at the
well, nothing that's going to be nice, but no, this is a perfect example of you don't have to like everything they do. We like Brainiac, we like Supergirl.
Yeah.
I mean, some of us like certain things, This is for a lot of people out there. I saw the comments when I posted the photo, and they love it. And that
very excited.
Totally cool. Does it work for me? No. But then again, I don't really gravitate towards Injustice 2. It's not the figure for me. It's for someone else. So
and if you really do like Injustice 2 and you don't like the Superman head sculpt, I know there are people on Instagram that offer these head sculpts, like a head sculpt for Injustice 2 Superman. I'm not sure if Mudman offers it or Customs by Martin, but I know that this head sculpt exists. And if you really want the figure and don't like the head sculpt, you can actually ask them if they have the head sculpt accessible to them. And if they don't, then they license it from the person that sculpted it and they can make it for you. So that's probably what I will do. Is I'll just get a new head sculpt made for it.
I'm okay
Unless
with
it looks great in person.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't love this design. I like a lot of the Injustice designs, unlike Rob, but this is definitely not my favorite. But
Do you have Injustice Batman?
I do.
Okay, so then you need to have Superman because they're
you
don't need it. But
yes, you do.
I mean, I'll probably.
I have Injustice Batman, but he's in storage.
Oh, okay.
What do you think about Omega Batman and Batman? Let's go to some better pictures. First, let's take a look at this guy.
Are you sure that's not the same head sculpt that's just been digitally reworked from?
I don't think so. I think it's
like
a new.
I think
it's
the same.
It's a different head. I think it's a head that might have been shrunk from another figure or something. Might have heard something.
Well,
like that.
don't you remember the original Dark Knight's Metal?
It might be for that.
Oh yeah, it is. I think that's what it is, Brad. They just shrunk it a little bit for this.
But that one had the neck was part of the head.
That's
like
great.
one piece.
Yeah, but it's all digital files. They can go in and change.
Yeah,
that.
but this for someone who doesn't customize like you do, this is a perfect way to do that.
Yeah.
So
And to be fair, this one is challenging to do anyway. I never did it because the back of his head's square.
Yeah.
So,
Choices, what do you think about this guy?
I do like what they did here. I think that's a very interesting 2-pack, and I'm interested to see accessories and such. Do I need it? No, not really. To be quite honest with you, I just I feel like I have these figures already. So, but
I like
here.
This is the only figure right here that's worth getting, in my opinion, in that 2-pack.
Oh, sorry. Say again.
This one here, the Omega Batman, I think is the more valuable purchase out of the two.
I like the head portrait. It's the other release didn't have that, right?
No.
It
was based on before we knew that it was Old Man Bruce.
Okay. Well, remember that wave? Like, I mean, a lot of people that remember the Bane with the Scarecrow on it.
Yeah.
Like, I still really like that figure. And yes, my wrists do fall out still to this day. But the
legs are useless.
Yeah. Well, it was overall it was like a fun wave.
Right.
It was
I like
different.
the comic book too.
McFarlane first started out. Remember, it was like,
yes.
Well, this is cool. Okay, so
and I agree, Asoka. The comic was a fun story, definitely.
Yeah.
I remember being very critical though. I was okay with like Metal being done because it was such a long, drawn out thing that anyone that reads comics would know about it. But the whole the whole where this comes from, this whole storyline, that was part of their Black Label, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right.
And a lot of people missed all the Black Label. They were like, I can't afford Black Label stuff. They cost more and they don't fit in my comic box, and so screw this. So a lot of people had no idea. And true to that point, you can still buy that box set. It still hasn't completely sold out, which tells you nobody wants it. It was just taking up space in the store. And this wave took epically long to sell out in my area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
The Capullo Batman that you were talking about, the larger one that came with the axes. Remember, he had the shredded purple cape, and then they re-released it with the actual purple underneath. You give that Batman the Joker with the head and the lantern, and it's like straight out of that comic. Like,
perfect.
Great figure. Yeah, I wish we had gotten a non-battle damage version of that.
Me too.
Yeah,
they had two versions, and they were both like tattered. One was like more bloodier than the first one.
Well, because the first one was inaccurate. Because these things are sold in the toy aisle, and so having all that blood on it, he was probably like, can't have the blood on it in the toy aisle. At least that was always my take.
Guys, I'm sorry, we have to wrap it up. Not only are we out of figures, but my wife texted me that she needs help with the newborn.
Oh, we were going to talk about Mirrorverse, though. Come on.
I do want that Ariel.
That's actually a cool design. I'll give it to him on that.
That is.
But I know we got to run.
Guys, a lot of thank yous I got to give out. First of all, to the people in the chat. Got up to 150 views.
There you go.
So,
nice.
Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you sticking with us. To our special guest.
Yes,
Toy
thank
Shiz.
you.
I mean, what more can you say about the Shiz?
Thank you guys.
Raise my Stanley Cup. Toy Shiz. Rob,
I had an absolute blast. Thank you guys. This was
Jesus
exactly what I needed to do to feel better. I just been under the weather for the last week and a half. So
see,
look at that, dude. This was fun. So Rob, Brad, we'll see you guys next time. One
hopefully by the next show we'll have the Batman 6-pack. Maybe we can do another.
Hopefully.
I think
Go
my
ahead.
Batmobile's coming tomorrow.
Oh, dude, my Batmobile's delivered. It's outside the right now.
Oh.
So
Rob,
Not
what does that mean for me and you?
sorry, Rob. What was that, Brad?
What does that mean for you and I, Rob? Because you ordered ours, right?
Yeah, I ordered. Yeah, I think I ordered like one where I paid fast shipping, and then the other ones I did like free shipping. So I don't know. They haven't shipped yet.
SB Toys.
One
RobDToys.
shipped.
Love SB
Yeah.
Toys.
One shipped.
Oh, you little hooker! Look at this guy. Oh, look at this guy, dude! Freaking
Sneaky up
Canadian.
there,
You
Canada.
and SB Toys. I can't believe the Brits got this before us. The Canadians got it before
CMD
us.
store had it.
Unbelievable!
They sold
Unbelievable!
out, and they must have
dude.
ordered more. And I was like, no. And then
Brad, and will you get your review up, Brad? For God's sakes, you got it right
Yeah.
there. Get that up by tomorrow.
That's awesome,
buddy.
though. I'm glad you got
take
one.
me a month to do. Pardon, Shiz?
Oh, I said that's awesome, though. I'm glad you got one.
Yeah, I'm not going to get it up in any reasonable time, but I'm so stoked. These look okay. They look really awesome in person.
Ah,
They do. You're
I'm
gonna,
looking forward to Val Kilmer, man. That's
heck
gonna
yeah,
be-
dude.
yeah. And honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. My opinion, as much as I'm loving the Keaton, I know the one that comes with the Batmobile is gonna look better because the shield is painted better, and you got the gold. The Kilmer and the Clooney are actually the ones that steal the show for me.
Yeah.
That's
I
what it
mean,
looks like so
Really
far.
good.
All right, boys, friends. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on the DC Infinite Hour.
Thanks,
Adios.
everybody.